Woke up this morning, decided to record an episode of Media Banter. What's up, Jonathan? How are you doing?
It was awful. That didn't sound like Donkey
I
at
liked
all.
it. I liked it. What do you
No,
mean,
that was
Donkey? Donkey
awful.
isn't the singer of the original song.
Donkey did invent the original song.
You're
I don't
right,
know what
you're
you're
right.
talking about.
You're right.
We like discussed this beforehand. I'm like, don't do it, and he's like, I'm gonna do it. So
I'm
fuck.
gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Because we're talking
Okay.
about hour-long dramas, and Sopranos basically invented those, so...
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
correct. Which is gonna make a very entertaining episode because I haven't actually seen it.
Ah, yeah. But you've
I basically know
seen it.
everything about it. It's
Yeah.
one guy goes gabagoo, the other guy goes, "What's the matter with you?" That's the whole show. So that's all you really need to know.
Hey, Tone,
So I guess
got
that's-
catty is.
You don't. God fucking damn it.
Hey, Tone,
Okay,
you listen
so
to
I
new
think that-
Media Banter?
Yeah, those two fucking. I don't know. I can't even think of anything funny. Just
Yeah.
those two fucking losers over there discussing Ghibli again. They got the worst fucking opinions. Gee, I don't know, Tony. I thought their opinions were pretty good. Shut up, Chrissy.
Shut up.
Shut up. So
Alright,
there we go. So
let's go.
I guess that's a good
Yeah.
place to start is with Sopranos because it did invent the hour-long drama.
Yeah,
So go ahead.
You haven't actually watched it, but
I have not actually
like-
watched it, but I know everything about it.
I like it a lot. I have a lot of issues with it, and it's nowhere near like my favorite show. I don't think. I think it's
Blasphemous. Not allowed.
It has amazing like characters and actors in it, right? But just the plot most of the time just goes like nowhere for the whole show. And I've watched 3 seasons of it so far, and I kind of stopped midway to season 4 because I feel like I'm just watching the same thing over and over again. But I can definitely see why it's beloved. It's like the main actor is fucking like he's amazing. He's fantastic, and everyone else is too. The characters are great. It's just like there's not enough of a hook there to keep me watching. You know what I mean? It's one of those, which is a really important thing for a show that's 10 hours long
especially
per season.
Christ, yeah. So that's
Or
also
13 hours.
something we definitely want to. That's definitely something we want to touch upon, right? Is a movie that's an hour and a half long definitely has to justify its length to an extent, but a
Yeah.
series that's like 12 hours long has to do that 12-fold. So we also
Hmm.
want to discuss what sort of makes an hour-long drama good. How does it justify its length? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So would you say that Sopranos justifies its length so far? Do you think it deserves to have
no.
as many seasons as it does? Okay.
I think that the characters are deep enough, and the story is expansive. I just don't think it moves nearly quick enough. You know what I mean? I like slow pacing. You know me. I love slow paced things. I just really
Unfortunately.
I think that a lot of the time I kind of just zone out in The Sopranos because literally nothing of importance is happening. Like no new character is being developed, no like plot stuff is happening. That happens a lot. So I know I don't think it justifies its length fully, but I still really enjoy it, and I'm planning on finishing it at some point. I just kind of fell out of watching it right now.
So you
Yeah.
think it would have probably been best to end it around season 3, in your opinion?
No, because part of
Oh.
the show is like actually like growing with the characters over like multiple years.
Wow.
And you can't really do that with just 3 seasons. Like I think 3 seasons are for like really self-contained like stories. Meanwhile, The Sopranos is more kind of just a tale of this guy's life throughout like the years.
Okay,
You know?
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
that,
what do we
that's
talk
like.
about next?
I don't know. Is that all we have to say about Sopranos?
Yeah, because I don't want to talk
I
about
f-
it too much because you haven't seen it, but good.
That's true.
I don't think
I
it's
do know
amazing.
I do know the
I
basic
think it's really
premise.
good. My favorite episode is still in season 1. Weirdly
Wow.
enough. Like the best episode in the whole show so far was episode 5 of season 1, and nothing came close to that afterwards. Yeah.
I do know the basic premise. It essentially alternates from deconstructing masculinity versus being misogynistic with the boys.
Yeah. That's my favorite aspect of it for sure, though. Just analyzing, like, on the outside tough, but on the inside actually really frail, like, complicated men. I really like that about it. It's like, it's a
Wow.
very man show. You know, it's very
And
much...
misogynist.
It's for men, by men, about men, I think, mainly.
Nice.
And
Oh,
it'll
shit.
make... But it's not just, like... It's not just appealing to men. I think that you kind of have to be one to like actually deeply connect with it because it's very much like about that, and that's my favorite.
It's like
aspect of it, I
Striking
think.
Vipers.
It's like the opposite of Dead to Me, which is very much about women and like their psyche and things like that. It's like the Dead to Me is the opposite of The Sopranos. That's my take for today.
Interesting. Okay, that's fascinating. Terrible.
Yeah.
Awesome. Guess I'm never watching whatever that was.
It's with Linda
So okay.
Cardellini. It's a really good show.
Oh shit!
I
I'm
really
definitely not
enjoy it.
watching it now.
I really enjoy it.
See, this thing shows that my mom enjoy. I sort of instantly have a maybe I shouldn't watch that type of feeling with them.
Yeah.
And she really liked
Same.
Dead to Me, so.
Oh really? Oh cool.
She
Yeah.
really liked Dead to Me,
I
yeah.
really like it too. I really like it a lot.
Okay,
I
that's
started watching
unfortunate.
it just because I really like Linda Cardellini, and I actually kept watching it because I just enjoyed the show. And I think her performance is like incredible in it, and
Oh
just
my
like,
God.
genuinely really good, and without the bias, you know.
You'd watch 12 hours worth of bowel cancer if it had Linda Cardellini in it.
And
I'm not saying that's all. That's all I have to say.
all right, do we want to get back on
Okay.
track? Let's talk about some shows both of us have actually seen.
Yeah. So let's talk about the other hour-long drama involving crime.
Which one? Breaking Bad?
Yeah, good guess. I was gonna come up with something funny, but then I couldn't come up with anything funny, so I guess we're just gonna talk about Breaking Bad then.
Yeah, let's dive right
So,
into Breaking Bad. You talk first because you really like it.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like Mark has provided a lot of critical elements to it that I genuinely very much do agree with. We tried to rewatch it together,
Mm-hmm.
and we realized that
We
I'm
didn't
actually
try
gonna
to.
steal this
We
from.
watched all of it together. Yeah.
We watched like pretty much all of it. Yeah, I'm gonna steal this because Mark put this into words very well. Was that like Breaking Bad is a show with many very good moments, followed
Mhm.
by about 40 minutes of boring nothing.
Boring bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, and I fully agree with that. Where overall, if you watch a season of the show, each individual episode is kind of goddamn boring, but they
It
do
really
have a
is.
pretty good idea of they have a pretty good way of still telling an overall story, if that sort of makes sense. Where generally you watch an entire season, and even though even though I didn't necessarily enjoy watching every individual episode, I can think back and go, "Oh man, that one moment in that one episode was really
Yeah.
awesome."
When
And that's
spoilers.
probably yeah,
When Gus gets blown up, man, that shit's
oh,
awesome.
insane, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's probably why I think that the show is able to garner so much popularity, is because these big, massive moments are all anybody actually remembers. And all the
Yeah.
slow moments of Walter just like talking about stupid bullshit and everything's so slow for some reason. Like this definitely I think does not justify its length. I feel
Yeah.
like
Not
it
at
could
all.
each season could be 2 to 3 episodes shorter and be a much better show in my opinion.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, it only became apparent once we rewatched it together, and I'm coming from a
Mhm.
place where I've never like loved it. I liked it.
Mhm.
I just never loved it. I don't think the story is like that special. I just think it's mainly just the performances that kind of bring it through.
That's a
I
really
think that's
big
what's
one, yeah.
really special about it. Just Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul. I think they just do such a fantastic job that, uh, like I don't want to say people got tricked into it because people genuinely love the show, but like it's just they elevate the show over what the material actually is, and the material
Mhm.
isn't like the best. Meanwhile, something like I know you don't like it very much, but The Wire, right? I think the entire strength of that show is just the writing and the story. The
Mhm.
actors are kind of there to just fill those roles. Meanwhile, in Breaking Bad, they fully elevate the material to a new height.
So yeah, I actually do fully agree with pretty much all of that. I think that a lot of these drama shows very severely rely on characters, which
Hmm.
is not necessarily a bad thing. I think that character is probably the most important thing in pretty much anything. That if you care what happens to this person, you more or less are interested in seeing what happens to them.
Exactly.
But it can definitely sort of make the rest of the show sort of hollow. I'm going to bring in an example super quickly in the show House MD, which
Oh
is
yeah,
one of the most boring, awful fucking shows I've ever watched in my entire life.
because
But I
it's one of
watched the
those
entire
standard
first
like
season.
it's one of those
Yeah,
standard like
exactly.
22 episode 40-minute things that are kind of just all bullshit.
Exactly.
There's a
But I
lot of
watched the
those
entire
around.
first season. Exactly. But I watched the entire first season because Hugh Laurie's portrayal of House was just so fascinating. He was so cool and awesome and
He's
stuff.
great.
I really wanted
Yeah,
to watch him. So exactly, the entire show was literally carried by him. The writing in that show is shockingly
it's very
boring.
standard. It's very
It's so,
standard.
exactly. It's one of the most. It's like a washing. It's like it was run through a washing machine. It's so lame. But because
Yeah.
House, the character himself, is so compelling, you're able to sit through fucking garbage.
If he wasn't, it would be one of those like one of those shows that you see ads for on cable television on like some unknown channel, like The
Yeah,
Good Doctor
exactly.
or some shit. Like that's a real show. Uh,
Damn, I
and you
wonder
just
if he's a
wouldn't
good
think
doctor.
past it, but people still remember House just because the main character is very like
Yep.
interesting and well portrayed. You know, that's pretty
Hmm.
much the only reason because there's nothing. I've watched some of that show too. There's nothing about it other than him that's even remotely like good.
Yep.
It's just so
Very
standard. It
true.
feels like it was made by a conveyor belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know. So yeah. So again, a lot of what carries Breaking Bad are definitely the characters. That's why I sort of wanted to make that connection there. Where, for example, without something like Gus, the show would just not be the same. It just
Yeah,
like seasons one and like the seasons before Gus are genuinely sort of boring.
they really are.
Like Tuco's an entertaining-ish villain, I
He's in
guess,
like
but I
three
don't know. There's
episodes.
just nothing to him. He's in like 3 episodes, which is interesting. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's all. I don't know.
I think Walter's central journey is very interesting and well portrayed and
Hmm.
communicated. I just think it could have taken a lot less time to
Yeah,
get there,
I'm
and I
so
think so much of the show is just like, again, like I love slow pacing and whatever, but so much of like so many of the scenes actually contribute nothing to anything. Like, what was
yeah
the whole point of like there's so much time is dedicated to Marie like shoplifting from houses, which is like nothing.
yeah. What the
It's
hell
like it
was
doesn't
that?
that's literally like a nothing
Mm,
time waster. Yeah.
yeah, but I'm so tired of getting videos recommended to me that's like the analysis of the downfall of fucking Walter White. I'm
It's like
like,
you don't
it's
need to
so
analyze that. It's pretty clear, man. Anyways, do you want to briefly get back to the topic of length, because I think it's a double-edged sword in terms of like television,
I don't see why I'd
because
want to
at the
do
same
that.
time,
Go on, go on. Let's hear it.
because at this on one side you have the fact that a lot of stories genuinely can't justify themselves being 10 plus hours,
Hmm.
right? Per season, and there's like 5 or 6 seasons or whatever. But at the same time, I feel like it's a lot more satisfying of us and much rich and like a much richer storytelling medium because of that. At the same time, like you can't have a story where you're as attached to the characters in a movie as you are to like a show you like. You know what I mean? It's just you can't do that because you're not spending as much time with them. You don't know them as
Yeah,
well.
that's exactly what I was
You know
gonna
what I'm trying
say.
to
Yeah,
say?
I know exactly
Yeah.
what you're trying to say. I feel like that's a large reason why shows like Breaking Bad and even stuff like Game of Thrones is able to like it has shows tend to have a much more aggressive following than movies for that exact reason.
Yes.
Is that people
Mhm.
have more time with the
You watch a movie
characters?
and you're done.
You have a what?
You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Which movie you're pretty much done. Even though not to smack movie as a medium at all. I fucking love movies.
It's just
But it's just
different.
different. With shows, you physically have more time. It's more time you have to fill, which is the problem. That was what you were talking about with the double edged sword. Is it's more time to fill, but at the same time, it's also more time to let the characters breathe and feel like real people, and that's why people tend to
Oh,
connect with
yeah.
shows a lot more.
Although I feel like that's being mostly solved now by streaming platforms because
Mm,
they don't have time blocks they have to fill.
yeah, that's true.
They just kind of have however many episodes they need.
Hmm.
You know, well, in best case scenario.
Yeah,
For
that's why there's 4 seasons of
example,
13 Reasons Why.
for example, this is a show we're gonna talk about in a separate episode, but the Harley Quinn show,
Mhm.
right? It's 20-minute episodes, and there's like what? How many? Like 12
I think there's
episodes
12
per
per season.
season,
Yeah.
and it's like it's perfect. There's nothing like extra or unneeded in that show at all. I don't think.
Definitely save it for the. We're making a separate
Because of that
episodes
reason.
about Harley Quinn show. Spoiler alert: we kind of fucking love it. It's kind of embarrassing.
But if it was like on cable TV, it would probably be like a 24 episode
Yep.
like cartoon. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? And
Exactly.
it would just be a lot worse.
Yep.
It wouldn't be allowed to be what it actually is because it's on a streaming platform.
Oh wait, what streaming platform?
Yeah. There was like a DC dedicated streaming platform, which is stupid and
Yeah.
failed. Now it's just gonna be on HBO
Yeah, I
Max.
can understand why I never heard of that.
Mhm. Yeah. What do you want to just move
So
on to the next
yeah,
show?
fuck. Is that all we have to say about Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
No. Yeah. Let's get back to Breaking Bad if we're
okay.
talking about that. Okay. Breaking Bad. Yeah. I don't like nearly as much as everyone else, and I feel like that's just because I don't love the characters as much as everyone else does. You know what I mean?
What?
Like I really enjoyed The Sopranos, even though most of the time on that show not a lot is happening. Because I just really like enjoy the characters. But in Breaking Bad, like yeah, I acknowledge they're great characters,
Hmm.
right? But I'm not invested in them, and I feel like that's one of the reasons it's jumped out at me that a lot of that show is like boring unless you're super interested in watching Walter
Yeah.
or Jesse or whatever. Feel like that's a huge aspect of it for sure.
Hmm.
That's why I think shows have such a strong following because people get super attached to like fictional characters and
Yeah, that
everything.
makes a lot of sense. There's also just a lot
Much more than
of. There's
movies.
also just like kind of no offense, just some stupid bullshit in it for no real reason. Like you
There
remember,
is a yeah.
there's like this video. I forget which season this was, but at the beginning of every episode, they'd show this video of like this pink bear. This pink stuffed bear.
Yeah,
Why? What?
I thought it was really cool when I was like 14.
I remember you being actively pretty annoyed by it when you were older. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's just
dumb.
because then it leads up to the two planes crashing at the old spoilers.
I guess,
It
but
leads
like,
to the two.
who cares?
Yeah, I know. It's like
Mm,
it doesn't really have much to do with the show
yeah,
other than just the shock factor of it.
yeah, exactly.
I love when Walter goes to the school assembly though,
Oh
and
my
just
god, he
goes,
just goes,
"Well,
oh,
lots of people die every day."
oh, it's awesome.
It's so good. He's a very very good character. I was
Yeah.
just he's an incredible character, incredible performance,
Mm.
obviously. Such a good voice too.
Yeah,
Great voice. And but I was never invested in him. I just never was. I think it's just a personal
I'm
preference
telling you,
thing.
it's
I just
mostly the
was
performance. I'm
never
telling you
invested in
right
him.
now, just Bryan
Yeah.
Cranston really created. Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul,
No,
as you said.
I understand, but even then, like I wasn't super
Yeah.
invested in them. I enjoyed watching them because they're really good actors,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, but I just never really cared. I feel like that's the main reason I just didn't enjoy the show as much as everyone else.
Yeah, that makes
Even though
sense.
I can still recognize like there's a lot of great moments and like little plot lines that do like the whole Gus thing. I think Gus is the character I got most attached to,
Yeah.
which is why I enjoyed that season the
Mm-hmm.
most.
That is the best
Gus is like
season.
my favorite character. Yeah, Gus is my favorite character in the whole show,
It's sort of.
easily.
I always equate it with sort of I always equate it with how sort of N1 at the end of Death Note, because it sort of doesn't feel justified, and it's just like it's really stupid that a
Mhm.
character that we've grown with, in this case Light Yagami, was taken down so easily. Light Yagami's Gus in this scenario, where it feels like
Yeah,
Gus is
yeah,
so infinitely smarter, cooler, and just genuinely everything than Walt, that it almost feels like a
yeah.
cheat that Walt actually ended up winning at the end.
Walt kind of fails his way upwards a lot in this
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
That episode with easily my favorite episode of the whole show is where Gus kills the cartel. Like
Oh yeah,
that's that's probably
fucking
the most
awesome.
invested I've got in anything in the show was his business with the
Yeah.
cartel. I got super invested in that. That was like one episode,
And there was like a
and
pretty
then
good
when that's a
flashback
Walt,
where
I'm
he's
like, oh,
like,
I don't care as
yeah,
much.
there's like a cool
Yeah,
flashback of him
it's
being all
great.
young and shit with no glasses. And he's like, "We're here to sell you
Yeah.
the cocaine." And it was a very interesting. Yeah, it was very interesting. I liked it a lot. Yeah.
The cocaine.
That So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
really like that.
just overall, it's carried by its characters. The individual plots aren't that great. Um, that's pretty much it.
You also watched it at the right time.
I feel
I
like
feel
that's
like
a
if you
huge part
watched
of it.
Breaking Bad now,
Yeah.
you wouldn't finish it.
I feel like that's a huge part of it. When I was 14, that shit blew my fucking mind. It was like the first like genuine. Actually, maybe Game of Thrones. Did I watch? I think I watched Game of Thrones before Breaking Bad. Wow. But Breaking Bad was like,
Yeah.
okay, fine. The second real drama that I actually sat all the way through.
Yeah, my first, which is something else we can move on to, was Dexter.
Yo,
I watched Dexter when I was about 13 years old, I think, or
Mhm.
13 or 14, around there.
nice.
So I was watching a lot of things, and I was like, "Ooh, a serial killer that kills other serial killers,
Okay.
cool!" And I just put it on because it was on Netflix back then.
Oh, lucky
And
fuck.
every episode was like an hour, and there was 13 episodes per season.
hmm
And it felt like back then when you're that age time flows so slowly, and
Yeah.
since I've never like seen a show like that before, every season felt like a giant epic,
Yeah.
like it felt like it felt like this giant expansive story, even though when I look back at it now it's probably not a good show.
It's not
Probably not a
incredible.
very
I don't
good
know.
show.
I tried to rewatch it when I was a bit older, and a lot of the narration was just sort of really edgy and like sort of 12-year-old writing kind of thing. It's like, oh, I must kill
Yeah.
this person, and I don't know. How do I put this? It's like so sort of spoilers, right? Dexter's a murderer. That's sort of his thing. It's like a psychological need for
That's
him.
the first. That's the setup.
It's like the psychological need for him, right? But he has like a code instincted by his father where he only kills bad people, sort of. And like I don't know,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna hate myself for saying it, but I feel like it insists upon itself a little, where it never really feels like killing is like such a compulsive need for him. The show just kind of tells you it
Yeah.
is. The show just kind of
It
tells
kind
you
of
it
just
is.
insists on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's a good point. I
So,
never
yeah,
thought of that.
yeah. That's something that always kind of
I
bothered
think
me.
it's one of those shows. Obviously, it's much better than something like House. Just even
Oh
if you
yeah,
take Dexter out, it's much
100%.
better.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's also one of those shows that's entirely just carried by the main
Yep.
actor. You know,
Uh huh.
because he's awesome. I really like him.
I mean, I
as
like
Dexter,
Sergeant
and I just
Dokes.
really like that. You know, funny story. There's this HBO show. Well, I've told you this before,
Oh
but
yeah,
just for
go
the
for it. I
cast.
know exactly what you're about to mention.
Fu-
Yeah.
Funny story. So there's a show called 6 Feet Under that I also really like. It's an HBO show. I never finished it. I should probably finish it. It's just too depressing.
Mhm.
Anyways, the actor who plays Dexter in it plays a gay man in that show, and his like boyfriend throughout the show is a bald guy with a mustache who looks exactly like Sergeant Dokes. So there was like a scene of them like post sex in bed. Like I saw a screenshot of that scene online, and I was like, "Wait, when the hell does this happen in Dexter? What the fuck? Does Dokes come back and then fuck Dexter?
That'd be
What?
a
He
much
like
better
blew up.
show.
I was so confused. I was so confused. So one of the reasons I kept watching, I'm like, well, Dokes is gonna come back. I
To
gotta
fuck
watch
Dexter,
that
of
shit.
course. Oh, that's great.
I was
That's
like, that's
awesome.
gonna be an interesting
That
development.
definitely
See
is,
what
yeah.
fucks
There's definitely
my
some tension
14 to
there.
15-year-old
There is
brain.
so definitely some
My
tension
14.
there.
There's a lot more tension there than there is with Dexter's any actual love interests, which are all awful and are the worst parts of the show to me.
Yeah, I
Like
have to. Oh
the
my
English
god.
one from the second season and the one from the fifth. The one from the fifth season is like the reason I stopped watching the show. I
Fucking
just
the
really
blonde
hated that
one that like
character.
poisoned all her husbands or some shit.
No, there's this one that he also taught to kill
Uh
people,
huh.
and I was just like, I was watching it. I'm just like, get the fuck out of here. And I just stopped watching. Like,
No, I remember. I know exactly the British one you're talking about because for a while,
yeah.
when we'd say we want to go watch Dexter, you know, because I watched it with my family a lot of the time, we'd go like, "Hey guys, let's go watch Dexter," because that's how the British woman would discuss
Dexter.
would pronounce his name. He's like, I
I do
understand you,
think,
Dexter."
yeah.
It was so stupid.
I do think it's just such a strong concept for a show, and
Yeah,
like it's because he works with the police too, which is
yeah,
like
that's really sick.
which leads to a lot of wacky scenarios where he's covering up for himself,
Yeah,
and that's really fun, but only for about 4 seasons.
yeah. Oh,
I
it
think
overstays
season
its
four
welcome so
is
much. Yeah.
I think season 4 is genuinely incredible,
Hmm.
like with John Lithgow.
Oh my
I think that's
god.
a great
Obviously,
season.
that guy's a
John
fucking.
Lithgow.
Yeah.
I think my mom is still like traumatized by that guy. Like, so that's the only season of Dexter she's watched, and she's like, every time she sees that actor in a movie now, she's like, "Oh God, no, turn this off."
Oh, is she scared of Shrek then?
He's so Farquaad.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Shrek the movie, I mean.
Yeah, he's so creepy and
He's
like incredible in that season,
man.
and him and Dexter just play off so well
Mm,
from each other. It's such a good season, and like that's show is worth watching just for season
mm.
4, but the rest of it isn't great.
Yeah, a lot of the side characters I feel range from mildly entertaining to just extremely annoying. Like, what
Yeah,
was it? The fucking head
like
police
La
chief?
Huerta,
La
I
Guerta.
really
I was gonna bring her the
dislike.
fuck
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
god,
I
she's
really
so
dislike
annoying.
her.
And Rita, I
My
don't
favorite
like.
side character. Yeah, my favorite. Rita, I'm okay with. My
Eh.
favorite side character is Vince Masuka.
Oh, so awesome.
That's the really pervy
It's
Asian guy in
so
the show.
fucking funny. They're like
He has like 3 lines per season, but they're all amazing. You know.
Yeah, it's always like, hey, look at this dead body. I want to have sex with it. Debbie's like, oh, you creep.
Yeah.
That's every scene he's in. And
What do you think of the character of Deborah? Because I had never really liked her.
she's
Honestly.
quirky. I don't know. She's okay.
Yeah.
I don't hate her. Weirdly enough,
I think she works in the show. I don't know. I don't really like her.
her face is kind of
Just never
weird.
liked her.
I'm sorry. I'm
That's not
sorry
why,
if she's
it's just-
listening. I'm sorry if she's listening, but her face is a little weird.
I'm sorry if fuck. What's the actual? I'm sorry if Jennifer Carpenter is listening to Media Banter episode 6. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I don't know. It was okay. A lot of so the side character. It's really the good side characters and Dexter himself that carry it a lot of the time. The plots
I
themselves.
kind of want to rewatch parts of the show now because I've only seen it when I
Sort
was
of-
14 years
It was
old.
kind of difficult for me to
I kinda wanna
rewatch.
rewatch
Honestly,
it
there's
now.
all this narration that's just really cringy. I really just
I
could not.
usually
Sit.
like narration.
You
though.
like a lot of dumb shit though.
Yeah, fair enough.
So-
Another show that doesn't justify its length. I feel like it would have been perfect as like a maybe like an 8 episode, like 40-minute thing.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, but every episode for some reason is like an hour long,
Mhm.
and really the characters aren't deep like at all.
Mhm.
That's one of the things about Dexter that I don't think it gets right.
Yeah, I see that.
When compared to like other shows, I think the concept is really fun,
Mhm.
but it's the characters can't carry the show for like 13 hours per season.
And a lot of the actual mystery, they have this idea that they use this whole the murderer is playing around with me because he knows who I actually am.
Mhm.
I know that's the majority of that is the first season, but I felt that was kind of corny and kind of dumb.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah. Did you watch the season with Colin Hanks,
I did. Isn't that the John
where
Lithgow season?
he's no, 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 no,
Oh,
no.
my
Where
bad.
he's there's also like this old guy, and then they revealed that the old guy was actually
Wasn't the
a
old guy
figment
John
of Colin
Lithgow?
Hanks's imagination. No, no, no.
Okay,
John
my bad.
Lithgow was the Trinity
The
killer.
Trinity
He was
Killer.
like a
Yeah, my bad.
he
You're right.
Dexter just does not justify its length because none of the characters are deep enough whatsoever. Like they're not even deep, I wouldn't say like at all. And
It's
in order to have 13 hours of Sopranos has incredibly deep characters, and even that feels too long at 13 hours. Yeah,
now, a lot of it is also I just don't feel the plot is really all that engaging a lot of the time. Like
it's a
especially
very pulpy.
yeah, like the first season
Yeah,
is the
it's very
most
like
fresh in my
trashy.
mind.
Like yeah,
Yeah, like the first
yeah.
season is the most fresh in my mind, and there's this whole mystery of the ice truck killer, and it's like, oh, who's the ice truck killer? And it's just like,
Yeah,
whatever.
I think the reveal for it is pretty
It's
good.
all right. Yeah,
Like that it's actually his brother, and it's also a character we've seen throughout the seasons. I
yeah,
thought that was pretty
it's
cool.
all right. Mm.
But yeah, it's
But the,
like it's if you find the rhythm of Dexter fun, which is just like every episode there's something new that goes down and Dexter has to hide from
mhm.
whatever, right?
And he has to
Like then
kill
it's
someone,
fun,
or
but
else he will die.
if you're looking for storytelling that actually justifies being that long, this is not what Dexter
Mm,
is. Even though
yeah,
it has the format of like an HBO drama, but it's really not that.
just watching because again, it's still a really good time. I still really enjoy watching it. I feel like I'd sort of enjoy
It's
watching it
fun.
now.
Yeah.
But man, it's just the narration, man. It's a really big deal breaker for me.
I really want to download like this fourth season just because I know that's the best one, and just because that show is like super nostalgic to me.
That makes sense. Oh wait,
I was like
so
watching it in high school. Yeah.
is that everything we want to say about Dexter?
Yeah. What do you want to talk about now? You sound like you have something to
Yeah,
say.
we sort of forgot about Better Call Saul. I wanted to mention it briefly because we were talking about Breaking Bad
Yeah, you
already.
mentioned it because I haven't seen it because I saw the first episode and thought it was
Mhm.
bullshit, so I didn't watch the
So
rest of it.
yeah, it kind of sucks. All right, that's over. What's the next
Mhm.
topic? I'm kidding.
Yeah.
It
No, no,
just
no.
it's
Elaborate.
completely fine. But what really so like it's
Yeah.
completely dead average a lot of the time. Also spoilers. But his fucking asshole piece of shit dumbass brother dies, and after that it becomes a much more entertaining show. But before that, it's completely dead average. And the fact that what makes it less than dead average is the fact that it has no point to exist. It feels completely useless. It's like this is not a
Hmm.
character that needed to be elaborated on. This is not stories
Y-
that I needed to
y-
be
y-
told.
you know what it is too?
Mm.
Breaking Bad had a hook. It
Yeah.
had this. Not to say that the guy
Mm.
who plays Saul is a bad actor. He's great.
Mm.
I really like
Mm.
him. But Breaking Bad had this like amazing central performance with this like very appealing character arc where he
Mm.
becomes like it's like a really dark school teacher becomes meth dealer. That's like
Yeah.
a really strong hook, right?
Mhm.
And it was basically a showpiece for Bryan Cranston too. Better Call Saul doesn't really have any hook
Yeah,
other
that's
than
interesting.
it is something from the
Yeah.
universe of Breaking Bad, I guess.
Sort of. I think the idea is
Because
that
I
to
think
go
what
on
makes
first.
yeah what makes Breaking Bad work is that central hook of you get to watch like this semi-average guy get crazier and
Mm.
or like get darker and darker, or
It's
whatever, right?
also the cancer bit. That's like
Uh,
a genuine, really
yeah,
like compelling sort of element to him. Is it like, oh,
yeah,
this man
and
has a ticking clock on him.
it's just the way his performance and character evolve throughout the show is
Mhm.
like the best thing about it. And Better Call Saul has none of that. I don't think.
I feel
I
like
haven't seen it. I've only
sort of
seen the first episode, but
sort of the idea that I can tell you're sort of right. I feel like the idea is that actually what you're supposed to do is watch how a relatively normal lawyer who tries to do the best by everyone turns into someone who's sort of crooked or bends the rules and stuff. But at
yeah,
the same time, we already know where he
it's
ends
not a
up.
radical change.
Yeah, it's not too radical. First of all, that's a good point. But we sort of already also know where he ends up because we've seen Breaking Bad first. So
Yeah,
that makes his sort of descent into madness, so to speak, a lot less interesting to sit through, rather than Walt's, because we have
yeah,
no idea what's going to happen to him.
yeah, and it just doesn't have like Breaking Bad is a show built on these like really cool set piece moments, and I feel
Hmm.
like Better Call Saul doesn't really have any
No,
of
not really
that.
at all. No.
Yeah, exactly. Like the whole Walt getting kidnapped by Tuco and held in a house for
Oh,
2 episodes.
yo.
Like that's awesome. You know, that's like a whole ass like set piece, like interesting like thing. Better Call Saul is just kind of like a show.
Yeah,
You know, it
yeah,
just doesn't have any of that.
and just
You
yeah,
know?
it doesn't. Its problem is that it not only doesn't really justify its length, it doesn't really justify its existence, which sort of really bothers me
Yeah,
about it.
exactly.
This is just not a story that needed to be told.
When
Um,
they even announced that it was coming out, like before it even came out, I was just like, what?
yeah, well,
What?
why?
You don't need to make anything outside of Breaking Bad. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't need to happen
Mm.
at all. It's so unnecessary.
So yeah, it was fun enough after his dumb shit piece of fuck brother died, but before then it was just even after then it's just kind of completely eh. It's just you're better off
Yeah,
rewatching Better Call Saul. Oh, sorry, Breaking
and I
Bad.
heard a lot of I heard a lot of people say that it's like actually like amazing. It's like better than
A lot of
Breaking
people
Bad.
are
But it's like
wrong.
you've watched all of it and you don't think
A
that,
lot of
which
people
is
are wrong.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh man, are we just never gonna know? And it's like, nope, you watched all of it, and that's just not true.
Yeah, it's just not true. No,
Okay.
there is a genuine
Yeah.
dedicated fan base that think it's better than Breaking Bad, and that I can tell you right
There
here
is,
is
yeah,
objectively wrong. It if you like it, that's
yeah,
fine. If you say it's better than Breaking Bad, you were just not correct.
yeah.
So that's all I have
Yeah,
to say really.
because the storytelling is very slow. That's why it's satisfying. It's like that's not just why storytelling is satisfying. You know,
Yeah. Oh,
being slow is a part of it, but like,
there is
sorry, what
something.
were you
There is
gonna
actually
say?
something that I wanted to bring up. This is sort of interesting. You talked about how like your first serious real drama was Dexter, right?
Yes.
I sort of lied. Mine wasn't actually Game of Thrones. It was back when I was younger, and I'd go to swimming class. And literally, this was back when I was super serious in swimming. So I'd go swimming like 3 to 5 times a week. What my dad would do is he would pick me up. We'd go home and we'd watch Star Trek together.
Oh, but that's
Yeah, it
not a
is.
serious
Yeah, it
drama.
is. It's super dramatic. It's
No,
way over dramatic. But hey, man, it's
it's
40
from
minutes
like
long. Oh, I'm talking about the Next Generation, not like the original Star Trek.
when's that from? What year?
Hold on. What year?
Because I would consider like the hour-long drama thing was popularized by The Sopranos.
No, I don't think that's
So
true.
I think I wouldn't count anything before The Sopranos.
When did The Sopranos come out?
Like 1999.
Ah, fuck. Wait, this was
Yeah,
in
because like The
1987?
Sopranos.
Damn, holy shit.
Yeah, see, because The Sopranos kind of did the whole one unified story,
Mm,
one really long character journey, hour-long, like 10 to 13 episode thing.
right.
That was like that's why it's such an influential show because it kind of started that and The Wire I think or like they came out around the same time.
See, but
They started that whole
you
thing.
forget that Star
Yeah.
Trek is 40 minutes long, and therefore it counts. There's not much I
So is
wanted
The
to say.
Flash.
Oh,
Does it
yeah,
count?
but let's talk about the Flash then, you fuck. Let's talk about the Flash. So I don't
Let's
really
talk
have
about the
much to say
CW
about it.
superhero shows.
It was just like we watched all of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and then we watched Star Trek Voyager, and then Star Trek Enterprise, and then I'm super nostalgic for these fucking garbage shows, and then I decided to watch them again when I was old, and I'm like, wow, this shit's really
You
boring.
just can't.
It's
You
so
just can't.
boring. Why is there so much talking?
Yeah.
There's like an occasion where they have like where they shake the camera to trick you into thinking the room's shaking, and then he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
phaser's set to stun, boys," and then the rest is just talking. That's it. It's so boring. I don't know how I sat through all of it as a kid. Literally, fuck.
It's like anime.
I guess so, damn.
Sometimes they'll have some fast-moving lines on a still frame. There's your action scene.
And yeah, I watched
Deal
the
with it,
entire thing
asshole.
as a kid, and I don't understand how. It's just I wanted to mention
You
that
don't just
briefly.
watch
I guess
anything as a kid,
yeah,
honestly.
that's true. I remember Simpsons
Yeah,
would
like
come
a lot
on
of the stuff I watched. Yeah. A lot of the stuff I did as a kid, I'm like, how the fuck? How did I do this? A
So,
lot of the shows that I watched, like back then, I don't think I would finish now because I just hardly ever finish anything because I'm just like nothing is good enough for me.
you fuck.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, very true. So I wanted to
Mhm.
briefly mention that because that's sort of my introduction to 40-minute shows, and it
That
sucked.
doesn't really count though. I
Yeah,
don't
your
think.
mom doesn't count. Shut up.
Oh.
Then I guess my first would actually be Game of Thrones, which actually that's a great segue, Mark.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's talk about Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, I have an intense love-hate relationship with Game of
We
Thrones.
were actually debating making an entire episode on Game of Thrones, but we thought we wouldn't have that much.
I I was like super obsessed with Game of Thrones
Kind of obnoxiously
back
so,
in
yes.
high school, and I still kind of am.
Have we told the story about
uh,
that's how we met?
Oh yeah, I had a Game
Yeah.
of Thrones book in class, and Jonathan comes up to me and is like, "Hey, you really watch Game of Thrones?" I'm like, "Yeah," and that's how we
That's
met.
how we met, yeah. Because we both didn't have any friends in high school, and I see this loser kid in English class.
Well, because it was like the first
It
week
was like the
of
first
high
week of
school.
high school, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not saying, yeah. So
that's
that's sort of,
crazy.
yeah. So that's
Game of
why.
Thrones unified.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's why, no matter how much Game of Thrones sucks, it has a special place in my heart because you united me with this fucking asshole.
I don't think it sucks.
I think it sucks. I don't think it
Oh,
sucks.
do
Go on.
you?
I don't. No, go on.
I think rewatching it now, I'm definitely a lot more critical of it. I
Hmm.
think a lot of like the dialogue, it's written to sound cool, but
Mm,
it doesn't actually contribute much.
whatever they want.
Ge- Yeah, no, okay, that's the bad
I
season
know,
though.
I know, I know. Go on.
Uh,
Duh.
yeah.
Sorry. Oh my
So
god. Don't edit
briefly,
that out.
briefly mention briefly mentioning Game of Thrones is one of the worst endings of any show ever, and not just because it's a really bad ending, but because the whole show is about building up to that ending.
Yeah.
And it's just a giant fart, like wet fart of an
Mhm.
ending. It's terrible. It's absolutely
I never
awful.
really cared for them.
Uh,
Innocent or
oh
otherwise.
my god. I was watching the first episode of my mom today because she's rewatching it
Hmm.
again. Um, and I just turned to her. I'm like, "See, Jamie Lannister. He's like my favorite character. I was so pissed when a bunch of rocks fell on him and he died in the second last episode."
Oh my god, I didn't even know
Like,
that happened. That's
yeah.
really
So
funny.
that's how he dies. He like hugs his sister. The room starts collapsing, and in the next like episode, we see a bunch of rocks on top of like their bodies. That's it. It's so
Wow,
stupid.
okay.
Anyways, Game of Thrones is amazing in so many aspects. Like the storytelling is like I think unparalleled in
Mhm.
television. Other than I don't know, I don't even know.
The Wire.
Like this. Yes, thank you. The I think they're different though. That's why I kind of hesitated. The set design and costume design and like visual effects are better than like most movies. Honestly, it looks so authentic and real. You know,
Mm.
like a lot of medieval kind of like things I watch, and I'm like, okay, these people look too modern. These
Yeah,
costumes look too clean. You know what I
that's
mean?
something I was
Game
gonna
of
bring
Thrones
up.
has
Yeah,
none of that. Yeah, Game
that's
of Thrones has none of that whatsoever.
this
Yeah,
is something
go
that
ahead.
you actually pointed it out. Is people have like medieval looking faces or modern looking
They
faces,
do.
and
They
it's
do.
difficult to describe,
And
but like you
even
know it when you see it.
yeah, like Sean Bean. There's a reason why he's in medieval things all the time. You
Or like
know, Sean
even
Bean looks
Kit
fucking looks
Harington. That's
medieval.
the most medieval ass fucking twink I've ever seen.
Yeah. But everybody, the casting in Game of Thrones is so
I was gonna
perfect.
say
Like
that. Yeah.
everybody, I've noticed this when watching the first episode today again. Well, I've noticed it before, but I've like again noticed it again. Everyone looks like they're actually part of the same family.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow, interesting.
like the Greyjoys all have like that pale skin with
Mhm.
like the slightly sharp faces and like the light eyes, right?
Mhm.
The Lannisters all like look similar, obviously,
Yeah, because
not just because their hair color,
they're
but just
basically
because
all
their
just
facial
it's
structures are.
basically just because they're blonde.
Yeah, yeah. The Starks all have that kind of like almost like wolfish kind of like look to them. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like they all have, and even I noticed this today. Rob Stark, right?
Yeah.
He looks a lot more like his mother than he does like Ned,
Interesting.
and it's
Oh,
just
interesting.
it's such good. It's just such good casting.
Hmm.
A lot of unknown actors. Like there's only really known actor is Sean Bean, and he dies at the end of the first season.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic show. I think a lot of it is really great. Season 7 and 8 suck, but the
Hmm.
story it tells, like the, I think. Oh, so you can probably pitch in on this because I've been talking too much too.
No, I
But
disagree. Go on. No, I'm kidding.
I think this is I think this is one of the shows that fully justifies being a TV show.
Yeah, I was gonna bring
And
that up as well.
the pacing is incredible because you have like 8 different characters with 8 different storylines and 8 different locations happening all at once, and you spend like 6 minutes of one of them and you cut to the next one. You know what I mean? And it's like it tells this giant overarching story that you literally can't tell anywhere other than a television show.
I was gonna say that exact same thing where we just talked shit on a bunch of shows that do not justify their length, and this is like a premier
Mhm.
example of something that definitely 100% does.
I don't think that there's no wasted time in Game of Thrones because I
There's
think
definitely
there's a
some,
lot.
but yeah,
There not a lot, but there's just some scenes where characters kind of just regurgitate the
stuff we
things
already
they've
know.
already said
Yeah,
before. A lot of
but
things like just some of the writing is a bit clunky, but overall it's like it's fantastic.
I
Think most
definitely
of it.
agree that the fact that there's like 8 different characters, 8 different storylines to follow really helps justify the length. Really gives a lot of meat to the bones of the show.
I noticed it while playing Detroit Become Human, and I was like,
Oh,
man,
yo.
why can't I play this game for like 4 hours at a time and
Yeah.
not get bored? And that's because like as soon as you get even slightly like maybe even slightly tired of one character
Hmm.
storyline, it just switches to the next.
Yeah,
You know?
I accidentally finished that game in like 2 sittings. That's a great example. Yeah.
Exactly, because it's like it's such a good way of pacing, but also telling a
Yep.
really like epic broad story at the same time. If you just have so many characters, it's just such a good story. I love the books too, except for the last two.
See,
They're
reading
shit.
is
They're
for
complete
nerds,
shit.
so I cannot talk to their quality.
The first three books are incredible. Book 4 and 5 are like actual garbage, I think.
Wasn't there some talk
Which
about
is
like
really
George R. R.
true.
Martin trying to like extend the length of his books to like outlast the show, so that people talk about his books more rather than the show?
That's stupid. I
Uh,
don't
I think
know.
it's true.
That's really dumb.
You're really dumb.
Yeah. It's insane to me how this show can have better production values than most movies that
Yeah.
cost a lot more
Oh
to
yeah.
make. You know, it's insane. Like just the world, it looks so real. It's very impressive. Great show. Watch it. Don't watch the last two seasons.
Okay.
Make up the ending in your head. Yeah. You have anything else to say about Game of Thrones?
I think we covered pretty much. We can definitely talk about like a lot more
Yeah.
specifics, but I don't really see much point. It's just.
I I do have issues with it, like rewatching it now,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think a lot of the dialogue is kind of like, again, it's kind of like showy and quote unquote cool instead of being what actual real people would say.
Yeah,
I think
I
a lot of
definitely
it
agree
is
with that.
very like it's a lot of it is like quote writing, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Oh my god, it's a
um
huge part of it.
meanwhile something like The Sopranos or The Wire, it's like people actually talk how
Mm-hmm.
people would talk to each other. It's also integrated into a really complicated plot, right? In like The Wire. But here it's like, nah, I feel like these are like I really like the characters, but I feel like they're characters in a TV show, you know?
Stocks, slow minds,
For sure.
quick tempers. Just shit like
Oh my
that
god.
sometimes, yeah. Where you could argue that maybe that's just how they talked medievally, you know? But at the same
Crowd for
time,
the king. But it's not medieval
but it's
times.
not medieval times, exactly.
It's a different world.
So yeah, a lot of it definitely feels. A lot of the quotes are a lot of fun to say, and I can see why they're put in. But it definitely
Yeah.
it adds a level of silliness to some of the scenes.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. It's not like it's not fully like realistic.
Yeah.
Like it's not fully like grounded. It's still very like literature esque
Yeah.
dialogue. You
Which
know
isn't
what I mean? Like
necessarily bad,
it's
but it
very
does take you out of
it's
some
very
scenes.
play like.
Yeah.
I think the costumes and the set design really ground it and make it
Mm.
feel real, but some of the dialogue can be a bit clunky like
Oh,
that.
also dragons
And
are
also,
super lame. I'm tired of pretending dragons are cool. They're fucking obese lizards that breathe lame ass fire. It's stupid.
they don't do anything in the show.
They don't
Either.
fucking
They
do
don't
anything
really
in the
do
show.
anything. Yeah.
That's why, like, you hear
A
about like.
lot of
Go on, sorry.
yeah, you hear a lot of you hear a lot about things that set up and then they just completely screw up in the last season.
Yeah.
Like they say winter is coming in the first episode, and then winter comes and nothing happens in the last season. You know, it's kind of disappointing. The last season is just such garbage. I like actually actively hated the show for a while because of how bad it was,
Yeah,
and then
I
I realized
remember
like, no,
that.
I don't hate this show. I just really
I
fucking hate
genuinely
the
remember
acting.
this where he'd go like, "Oh, I hate Game of Thrones," and I'll be like, "No, you don't."
Yeah, it's like I
Yeah.
really don't.
Yeah.
I just hate the ending. It kind of ruins a lot of it, honestly.
Yeah. So
Like once you know where it's going, it just
I remember I remember because I had a couple people recommend Game of Thrones to me for a while, and I put it off for a very long time because the majority of the selling points were, "Yo, there are dragons and tits," and I'm like, "Well,
yeah, but that's not at all
that's
what
not at
I like
all what it's
about it.
about." Exactly. That's probably why I'm glad I
That's
actually
just
watched
really
it.
good
Yeah.
characters.
First of all, the tits are not that
Would you
impressive.
say
All right, I'm just gonna say that tits not that
they're
impressive.
not?
All right, I said what I said, and dragons are
Well, because
super
they
lame.
look like
So.
what people back then would actually look like
Yeah,
too,
I guess so.
which is good,
Yeah.
but also yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Emilia Clarke with platinum hair is very attractive though.
Yeah,
I
we're
really
gonna.
like
Oh my god, this guy.
I like look at her in real life. I don't think I'd look at her twice in real life with her like regular hair,
Goddamn.
you know. But
Yeah, like
in
she
the
was
show,
not the same in Terminator,
yeah, like in the show, very very good.
which is weird because there's like 2 attractive women on the show and like so many attractive men. It's kind of embarrassing.
Yes,
Like,
so many. Holy shit! I like. Khal Drogo rode in on that horse.
ah,
Holy shit, man!
we're
I,
both
like, my
straight, by the
balls
way.
dropped.
We're both straight. We both like women with boobies, but
Bro,
what the
see, you
Viper,
think you do,
dude?
and then you see And then you see in the first episode, Khal Drogo take Daenerys under the arms and like throw her on a horse, and like I felt something, you know.
This guy. And there's also the Viper. There's your boy Jaime Lannister
Aw.
himself. There's Kit Harington,
Oh my god, I
absolute
love him.
cutie. There's Robb
Yeah.
Stark.
Eh.
He's okay as hell. Oh no, wait. I'm thinking
He's a
of Rob Baratheon. My bad. Robert Baratheon.
Robert Baratheon.
Yeah.
Wait, which? Oh yeah, Robert
Sexy
Baratheon.
beast,
there we go.
right? So yeah.
Yeah, lots of yeah.
That is all. I know. Yeah, that's
For some
pretty-
reason,
go on.
for some reason, Daenerys' like handmaiden in the first season is really attractive.
Wait, I remember something.
like,
That's
I
the
don't
one
know
that.
why.
That's the one that like
Yeah.
teaches her to bang.
Yes.
Right? Okay, got it.
to ride Khal Drogo. Yeah. That was a good scene. That was a
Oh,
very
of
good
course
scene.
it was, Mark. Of God, this guy, man. I don't know. I tend to skip over most of the sex scenes. I'm like, ugh.
Me too.
Yeah.
That
To be
wasn't a
fair,
sex scene, though.
that one was. To
Yeah.
be fair, that one was pretty plot relevant. If that makes sense.
Yeah. The show invented the term sexposition. Because a
What?
lot of characters will monologue exposition during sex scenes in
Oh,
the show.
okay, that's very. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
very interesting.
Or while someone is like doing it in the background. You know,
Yeah.
it's like that happens a lot in the show.
That is actually super interesting. I
It's
never thought of that.
pretty
Yeah, that's why skipping some cutscenes, you're like, oh fuck, I'm confused. I guess I gotta watch the dude's ball slap on her asshole.
I see this and it pleases me. I see this and it pleases me.
Fucking Chad. It's weird though,
I
because he
think
has like
that's
the
where he-
ugliest chick on the show. I'm sorry, his wife is so hideous.
Yeah. But her daughters though.
No. Okay, let's move on to the next show. We're not gonna entertain this anymore.
this is a very, very horny show.
I know, because back then, dude, there was like
Lots of-
nothing to do back then besides like fuck and drink. Like, what else would you do for fun?
That's what I do. I drink
drink
and I
and
do things. That's
Uh,
another quote.
so
Another
fucking,
quote.
See, like that's
I
also
just
different.
love how he says "busted" too. Period.
Boston.
Just busted.
Very good. Yeah, exactly. And also, that's another thing. I know we've been saying the word performance a lot, but you know, it's almost as if it's super fucking important. But yeah, the
acting is all
performance
very,
is
very good on the show.
it's all
yeah.
insane. I
The-
can't really point to anyone that's bad.
The characters really like the actors really like breathe life into the characters
Yep.
like a lot. I think like they wouldn't be as memorable of characters without those actors. Honestly, like again, like that's why like if you read the books without watching the show, like I don't think it's as vivid. As
Ah,
the
it's
show.
Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. All the it's not just the actors. I think it's the casting for
Mhm.
literally every single character
Yeah.
is so on point. Like they fit their roles so well. There's some people whose performances I'm not too crazy about.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's good most of the time, but I think the actress who plays Cersei, like she does the whole speaking through her teeth
Yeah.
like too much. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
know
her
exactly what you
performance
mean.
becomes kind of one note. Like
Mhm.
that's kind of what she's doing every single scene almost that she's in. It gets kind of old. And some actors do that too. Like
Hey,
I don't even
cut
know.
her
Like,
some slack.
Jon Snow, I really like him, but he's like also brooding.
Yeah.
every
Oh
single
my
scene.
god. I don't want it. It's not mine. I don't want it.
I don't want it.
Yeah, but you know, cut Cersei some slack. She was injected with slow mo and then dropped off a building.
Haha.
You couldn't expect me not to make that reference, okay? Sorry.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah, it just I was watching the Netflix Witcher show actually, right?
Mhm.
And it's just comparing that show to Game of Thrones is just embarrassing.
Because
Like
it's so much better.
genuinely embarrassing. Because Game of Thrones had roughly the same budget. Like the
Mhm.
first season of Game of Thrones had a lower budget than the first season of The Witcher, and
Wow.
The Witcher looks like absolute trash. Like the costumes are terrible. Like the
Mhm.
special effects are awful. A lot of the actors are super miscast. I don't know what the
Mhm.
hell they were doing when Game of
Like,
Thrones existed.
that's definitely something. As much as I hate dragons, they did do a good job of making them look like they were actually there.
They look great.
They do look like they were.
look
Yeah,
really
they
good.
did a good job with them.
They're very detailed too. Like
Mm.
they move in a really cool way
Yep.
too. Like I remember in the second season, Daenerys is like carrying one on her dragon, and it kind of like it flaps its wing like it's almost like falling off her, like to like
Yeah.
restore its balance, like shit like that. It's very.
So this is
important.
something that super
Yeah.
bothered me. How the hell did they grow up so fast? Don't dragons live like 3,000 years? Wouldn't their growing up span take longer?
Yeah, they grow up fast and then they live long.
Sorry, you're the Game of
I don't
Thrones
know.
master here. It's stupid.
Yeah. Fire cannot kill a dragon.
That's also
You know what's
brief
funny?
mention. I really love the Onion Knight, and his voice is so good. I can't
Oh,
even imitate it.
yeah.
It's like, I trust him with my life. He cut
Yeah,
off
yeah.
my fingers, and he's awesome. I really like him. Okay, continue. What were you gonna say?
Yeah. You know that scene where one of my favorite scenes is when Viserys comes into the Khal Drogo's tent and he's like, "When am I giving you my crown?"
Oh my
And
god.
then
Crown
and
for
then Khal
crown.
Drogo pours molten gold on
Holy
his head
shit.
and he goes, "Crown for a king."
Crown for a king.
And then
Oh my god.
Daenerys. This is just a funny thing I noticed. Daenerys says, "He was no dragon. Fire cannot kill a dragon." But that wasn't fire. That was
That was
molten
not
gold.
that was molten gold.
Oh yeah, briefly mentioned Jason Momoa. I think is
Mhm.
like fantastic in this
Oh,
show.
he's
Like I feel like
so
this is the
good.
role he was meant to play. Always,
My
he was always
man.
meant to play this role. My man. I just really like him in general.
Nah,
I
he's
think
really
very
great.
charismatic. Yeah.
You know, I'll be honest. I'm afraid to
He's like-
die.
And you're gorgeous. You're perfect.
God damn it.
It's a Justice League reference.
Yeah.
That scene wasn't in the Snyder Cut.
Wow, for good reason. That scene sucked.
Yeah. Anyway, I think I'm done talking about Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
I
that's
might
pretty much
like
everything.
write a whole thing on it just because
Wow.
after watching it, I've been watching it season to season since
Mhm.
season 4, essentially every year. So I've been with this show for like 6 or 7 years, and I still think about it like regularly.
Wow.
So I feel like that's something. It's very special.
Yeah, be on the lookout for new markedasmedia.blogspot
Oh yeah.
on Game of Thrones. So yeah, that's why we could have probably made individual episodes of each of these shows, but those would have been really lame episodes.
Yeah.
So
All I have to say about Breaking Bad is it's overrated. That's it. Move on to
Mm.
the next episode. There we go. Yeah, I can totally see why Game of Thrones was such a huge cultural
Yeah, for
phenomenon. Meanwhile, Breaking Bad, like it's a little bit harder to see for me. I'm like, alright, I guess there's some cool shit in it, you know?
yeah, there's definitely it certainly has a place in history. I want to say even,
It does. for
but
sure.
yeah, that's the idea, Denny.
It's the closest they've had to making an impact as big as like, well, this probably had a, yeah, this probably the closest HBO has come to having an impact as big as like The Sopranos had back
Well, The
back
Sopranos,
then. You know what I mean?
is very good. Yeah, good
Yeah.
example.
You know what I mean? Like it's just Game of Thrones kind of like redefined television again, in a way.
Yes, because it is very good, much like The Sopranos, which is very good.
Hopefully that it's like it's on a scale we've never seen before on TV too. Anyways, I'm gonna stop gushing about.
But
Game
yeah,
of
sort of.
Thrones.
That is one last thing I did want to mention is that each episode does sort of look like a movie, in both scale
It
and
does.
sort of a visual. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So that is
it
something
doesn't
that
look
does
like a
its point.
TV show.
Yep.
That's something I whenever I see a show that looks cheap to me, looks like a TV show, I just turn it off instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless it's like a just about like people talking or whatever, and I really like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, like again, like The Witcher, I really struggled to get through because that shit just looked so cheap, even though I know it wasn't, which is weird.
Yeah, I mean the entire budget went to
Um,
Henry Cavill. You know.
Yeah, literally. That's literally
That's
it.
the only
Yeah.
reason anybody talks about it. I'm telling you. I don't know.
I agree.
Because The Witcher 3 had like no fans, right? It was vastly considered to be one of the worst
Man.
RPGs of all time.
Man. Man.
He's so sick of my shit. It's just not even original anymore.
Yeah. Henry Cavill is good as Geralt. It just the show sucks.
Mm. Speaking of Henry
Yeah.
Cavill,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I have no segue. What's the next thing we want to talk about?
Speaking of Henry Cavill, big muscular men.
Yeah, which
alright.
is
Jason Momoa, The Rock.
shit. What the hell? What else is there to watch? I don't know. Oh, I have a list here. What's the next one we wanted to cover, Mark?
I don't know, you tell me. You're the one on the list.
Okay, let's shit on something for a little while. The Walking Dead.
Okay. Oh my god.
What is?
I watched an embarrassing amount of this shit. By embarrassing amount, I mean 4.5 seasons.
I watched like pretty much
Or
as
3.5
far as that, yeah. Because like my family really enjoyed it as well, so I just kind of sat through with them. I started to get bored pretty quick. Season 2 especially is like shockingly atrocious.
I was weirdly entertained by it.
You're weird. Whatever, Mark. It's fine.
Walking Dead is like enjoyable trash until it gets extremely boring.
Yeah.
I think. Like every single episode is just Rick going, "Guys, we need to stay together." That's it. That's it.
Okay, that's like my main issue. Like I stressed this point a lot earlier, where characters seem to be the most important part of any show. And on The
Mhm.
Walking Dead, I basically have no one to root for.
Non-characters.
I hate everyone.
Non-characters.
Exactly. Except for like Shane, and they
They're
kill
all-
him.
Oh, Shane is awesome, but that's only because
Only because John
John
Bernthal. Yeah.
and because he's like a slightly morally dubious
Yeah.
character. That's
Exactly.
it.
He's like the only one with some
I
interest.
think One of the things Walking Dead gets so wrong is that like you can't just have like people in a show. You need characters. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
exactly.
A lot of these people are just people, like without anything remotely interesting about them. Like they think that if it's a person on a show played by an actor, then that automatically makes them like a
Hmm.
interesting character that I don't want to watch entire episodes dedicated to. It's like no, you have to make
Yeah,
an interesting
for sure.
character. You know what I mean? Like what the hell is what's her name? What's the one with the short hair? What's her name?
Matt.
Carol. What
Oh,
the hell is
oh
her
my god.
character?
She cares about her family.
What's the
Rick's
only
character.
people with character are like the governor
Yeah.
and Daryl, but Daryl's character is that he's broody and has a
Mm.
crossbow and a motorcycle.
No,
That's it.
you pointed this out. Pretty much anything with character there is just people caring about their family. Oh, or
Yeah,
sorry, it was also primarily Rick. That was the main issue with Rick. Is that although I think the actor does as good as a job as
I
any
think the
actor
actor's
possibly could,
great.
the actor does
Yeah,
a great job. But literally all of his motivation is just I care about my family, I care about my dumb fuck
yeah,
fat wife and my stupid kid. It's just like
yeah.
why do you do any of that, Rick? I don't see any of that in this.
Like that's not interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Even
it's
if his family
there's no
wasn't annoying as
conflict to
hell.
him. Oh god, I hate his son so goddamn much. Little ass kicker too. No, sleeping it
Oh
off.
no, stop.
I think season 3 of The Walking Dead is actually pretty good,
Hmm.
but that's only because it has like an actual conflict with the
What's that one about?
governor,
Is the governor?
and
Yeah,
I think the governor is a good character.
because he has an eye patch.
Honestly, I feel
Because
like
he has an eye patch.
because he's an eye patch and because he's crazy.
Yeah, very true.
But
I
I
mean,
think he is a good character,
that's a lot
and
more
I really
character than
like the
anyone else
whole.
has. Yeah, just him being
I
crazy.
really like the whole town versus town
Hmm.
dynamic. You know, I think that's really interesting. But yeah, this show just sucks. It's really bad. It doesn't justify its length in the
Oh
slightest.
my god,
Uh,
it
yeah,
drones on for so long,
yeah.
and I don't know.
Could be summed up in a 2 hour movie. Honestly, like most seasons could just
Yeah.
be a 2 hour movie. Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I don't even think we should really mention like the whole AMC drama, just because that's not what this episode's about. But yeah, basically,
Yeah,
AMC's dickheads, and there's a big reason. I feel like The Walking Dead could have been much better than it is, because season one actually had some
it would have been
promise.
much better.
And I read the comics. The
It
comics are
would have
kind of
been much
boring.
better if an actual, yeah, if an actual director helmed it,
Yeah,
you know, it would have been better.
they fired the fucking guy who made Shawshank Redemption and hired some nobody. It's fucking
Yeah,
embarrassing.
they fired the guy who made the biggest show on their network since Breaking Bad, essentially.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
And no, Breaking Bad they don't even own.
They
Walking Dead is
don't
like the
fully.
only show they own.
Yep.
Yeah. Bad show. Don't watch it. Season 4 is one of the most impressively boring things I've ever seen. And season 3 is pretty good, honestly. I
It's a
like season 3, even though there's a lot of terrible shit in it. Like the whole, just anything to do with Rick's group, I just hate. Like I
yeah.
think it's just all terrible. But I really liked the governor and his kind of like rivalry with Rick. I enjoyed that a lot.
So
But that's pretty much it.
this might be a bit controversial, but in my head, I've always sort of looped Breaking Bad and Walking Dead together purely because the same kinds of people tend
The
to like
title
both shows.
sounds the title
Not at
sounds
all.
similar.
Not even
Breaking
close.
Bad,
God
Walking
damn
Dead.
it. But
Breaking
it's like
Bad,
the
Walking
same
Dead,
kinds of
Breaking Bad.
the same kinds of people tend to
Yeah.
like both, and they tend to
Yeah.
like them for the wrong reasons. Oh fuck! I said that out loud, didn't I?
Ah.
Because like there is nothing to
I
like.
agree with you though.
Yeah, there is nothing to like in The Walking Dead. So anybody liking it is liking it for the wrong reasons.
The first 3 seasons are good trashy entertainment.
Yeah.
If you recognize it's
I
not
think season
good,
2 is
it's
so
pretty
boring.
entertaining.
I think season 2 is so
I
boring.
didn't find it boring personally.
I don't know what is
I don't
wrong
know
with
why.
you. It's just a
Yeah,
bunch
I
of
don't know
boring
why.
characters arguing about boring shit. I hated season 2.
I don't know. I enjoyed it for some reason.
Uh,
I think I just really like Steven Yeun. I think that's the only reason I
Steven Yeun
really
is pretty
liked it.
good. Yeah, and John
Yeah.
Bernthal.
The show's cast is so much better than this show.
There's like 2 good
Like,
cast
there's
members. Everyone else sucks.
John Bernthal, Steven Yeun, Rick, the guy who plays the governor, I thought was pretty good. Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Oh
Like,
fuck, Jeffrey. I
yeah.
did not make it to Jeffrey Dean Morgan, unfortunately.
I know.
Damn it. I gotta watch
I
his
watched like this
episodes
scene.
individually.
I watched like this scene where he appears. It's
Yo.
pretty fucking good. Just cause he literally gets a monologue for like 5 minutes.
Oh, beautiful.
It's great.
I got your monologue
He
for
has a
5 hours.
bat
That should be the
with
whole show.
barbed wire on it. It's pretty fucking awesome.
So yeah.
They Walking Dead they just have like these images that, but nothing to support them. Like just they have this image of Jeffrey Dean Morgan in like a leather jacket with a bat with barbed wire, which is cool as fuck, right? But like from what I hear, like his actual character isn't like anything. You know what I mean? Like he's just another governor.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cool imagery for like nothing, essentially. Yeah. It's like it's cheating. You can't just cast Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
I mean, I think more people should do that.
I know. I'm saying you can't just cast them and then just like because
Yeah.
that essentially just elevates whatever the fuck you write down. So it's kind of like a cheat code, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why my dad was like, "Oh, I really love Walking Dead when Negan shows up," and I'm like, "Okay, but do you like Negan or do you just like Jeffrey Dean Morgan?" He's like, "Fuck."
Like, yeah, I don't know anything about his characters. I didn't make it that far, but I don't imagine he's that well written or that interesting.
he's just the governor again,
Yeah.
something like that, like a more psychopathic governor. So just whatever. Yeah, bad
Oh my
show
god.
doesn't justify its length. Not a good television. Like
It's
not a good
just
example for the medium of television. Like at
yeah.
all. I don't think.
It's so
Yeah.
overrated. I remember it being hyped the shit up by like fucking mindless drones. It's so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. HBO is making an adaptation of The Last of Us.
Wow, that's gonna be awful.
They're spending like 100 million on or some shit, and they have Pedro
Mm.
Pascal as Joel. That should be
I
pretty
take
fucking
it
good,
back. It should be pretty good.
honestly. And they have the guy who wrote Chernobyl writing it, so I have a lot of
Yo, but
faith
that
in
show
that
sucked
actually.
too.
Yeah, I love Chernobyl.
Oh yeah, we can discuss
Segway,
Chernobyl.
segue.
Wow,
Chernobyl is more of
that's a
a
good segue. Good job, Mark.
Chernobyl is like one of the most impressive like works of television I've ever seen. I really love it. I don't think it's
Mm.
just like when you hear like, oh, adaptation of real life events, you just think, oh great, it's gonna be another one of those.
Haha.
No, Chernobyl, if it was fictional, it would be an amazing show too. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like Social Network or something, but for Chernobyl. It's just it makes such a great point about just the grander world in general,
Mhm.
while also kind of depicting the events that took place, and also somehow authentically depicting Russia, but made by British people. It's so great. It has amazing like set pieces too, like a lot of like cool horror shit in it. Like some divers go under the plant to turn some shit off, right? And like like the radiation like sound, like the like in Fallout.
Yeah.
So they have that, and like it gets so intense that like it knocks out their flashlight, and then that radiation sound just keeps getting louder and louder. It's like the episode, and it's you gotta watch it. I can't describe it.
It's
It's
okay.
very effective. It's very effective. It's a really good show.
I
It's really entertaining too. I like binge it all in one go.
It could be just because you're Russian though.
No,
I think so,
I've
personally
talked to
speaking.
people that aren't Russian that watched it that really liked it.
Oh well, who trusts them? They aren't Russian. How can they have an opinion?
Yeah, fair enough. It's really good.
Instead of a
Really,
lose lose
really good.
scenario, I put you with.
I think one of the reasons it got so popular too, it was like the top rated show on IMDb for a while.
Wow.
It has like a 9.6 or some shit from like 100,000 ratings or
Hmm.
something crazy like that. I think one of the reasons it got to that point too, other than just being really good, is because it was coming out at the same time as Game of Thrones season 8.
Oh no.
So people would see
Oops.
ads for it, like, oh yeah, I'll check this out on Monday or whenever it was on, and they're like, wait, this isn't Game of Thrones season 8. Oh my god, it's amazing.
I mean, I don't know. Game of Thrones
Yeah,
season 8, I think outshadowed it because it was so much better.
man,
Man,
you
that's
still
just all
gotta
you
watch
say
it.
now. Yeah, I
You still
do.
gotta
I think
watch
I
it.
have it torrented somewhere. I just keep
Hell
forgetting to
yeah,
actually sit down and
I'm
watch
down
it.
to watch it together.
Who asked?
I'm down to
I
watch
did,
it.
Mark. That would be lovely. Thank you.
Yeah.
So that's good. That was also
Okay.
something on the list. Actually, was I had that under the
Chernobyl.
Goldstein list. Was The Wire, Sopranos, and Chernobyl. Oh, so that's good. Do you want to
Yeah.
talk about The Wire a bit more?
Yeah, I think I know again,
That
I
was
think
such an
season 2 is
unenthusiastic. Yeah, are you sure, man?
well, cuz I've like talked about the show so much and I know you're not interested, so there's not
Okay,
really point.
mention. Let's mention it briefly. Yeah.
I really I intensely dislike season 2. I think it's boring as shit, right?
Mhm.
But I think overall, like the overall package of The Wire is like probably one of the greatest works of art ever created. It's easily
Wow.
my favorite show ever. It's just like I've never like started thinking differently after I watched the show. It's like season 3 is the best because that one Idris Elba, that one centers around Idris Elba. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mhm.
Yeah, a really good show. I'm not gonna bore you with the details.
I
It's
appreciate
fantastic.
that.
It's one of the best written things ever. It's great.
Okay,
All right,
I'm glad
moving
that
on.
you mentioned that so briefly because it's a bad show that is bad.
Yeah,
So,
moving on.
speaking
Is
of
there anything you've
speaking of,
watched that I haven't?
I do not think so. Nothing worth mentioning
Okay.
anyway. We
Okay.
could talk about something that we both watch. I'm about to break this kid's heart right now. We're gonna talk about Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah. Freaks and Geeks is really good. I really
Yeah,
like it. It used
that's
to be
why
my
it's great.
favorite show at some point because it just like it hits really close when you're in high school.
It's so fucking rewatchable. When it was still on Netflix, I think I must have watched it like 4 or 5 times. It's just so much
Yeah,
fun.
it's very entertaining. It gets
Yeah.
like really depressing towards the end though.
See, this is why I said I'm gonna break his heart because it's he gets sad every time it's mentioned. He remembers that ending. He's like, where? Linda
No, I just
Cardellini
think
isn't my
the
wife. Where?
yeah, it's very depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a really good main character, I think, too. In general, like just it's very relatable. Just like doesn't know what the hell she even wants to do. I'm fourth
There,
year uni. I still don't know.
there, there are
But
parts of it that are sort of corny, but overall, I think it adds up.
yeah,
What do you mean,
and I
eh?
think it's also really funny while also being really real.
Also
You
true,
know,
yeah.
it's hilarious. It's a really funny show. Oh, hi, Cindy.
Like, there's this one part. Remember where Bill's in the hospital and their bully comes in and he gives like this little monologue. I thought that part was
Yeah.
extremely cheesy and kind of not very good.
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I did not like that.
Yeah, I tend to find the stuff with the older kids to be like more impactful, but the stuff with the younger kids is obviously a lot more entertaining. You know,
Yeah, that makes more sense.
they're really funny, I think.
There's still this one quote that we always fucking go, and I don't know why, but we still use it so often. To Friday
What is
night, always a good night for some Sabbath. It's
it?
so
That kid looks like
stupid.
my dad. It's very distracting.
I totally see it.
He
Oh my
looks like.
god.
Haha,
There's
and I
also,
relate to him because I also
mhm,
want to bang Linda Cardellini.
oh god damn you.
It's a relatable episode. Yeah. Are you gonna say something else?
No, that's it. No, I'm kidding. There's still
Oh, okay.
plenty
Yeah.
more. Yeah. What else was there? Okay, what else? But I don't know. So yeah, a lot of it is sort of some of the acting I feel is very hit or miss. It's either incredible or kind of bad. Like the Sam Weir
Yeah.
tends to be kind of off sometimes.
Yeah. He's not great.
Um, but otherwise the writing is really good for like every
Mm.
for like every single character. Everyone has a pretty clear motivation or lack thereof, which sort of makes them
They're
compelling.
all very different too.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
the dad character as well. He's
Oh,
hilarious for some reason.
I think one of the funniest things to me in the show is the when well, what's her name? Kim, the blonde one. Is that her
Yeah,
name?
was it Kim or Karen? I want to say Kim.
Kim. Yeah. She's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, 'cause I got this jacket. She's like, wow,
Mhm.
it's
Give me one
beautiful.
second. Give
Totally
me one
worth the
second,
effort.
Mark. Give me 1 second. Da, mom. Spokojny. So, okay, repeat that. I'll cut that out.
Where she's like, oh yeah, I got this jacket for like half price or whatever. He's like, oh, it's beautiful. Totally worth the
Totally worth the
effort.
effort. That's like Seth. That's like Seth Franco. Oh my god.
Seth Franco. Yeah.
Seth Franco.
No, no,
Yeah,
no. Yeah,
basically,
that makes sense.
basically, James
Seth
Franco
Franco.
and Seth Rogen's like first actual. I want to say that it's their first appearance.
No,
Am I wrong?
it's it's one of those shows that perfectly blends the episodic format with an actual coherent narrative.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, the the Sopranos is one of those that does that too. But this came out earlier, which is impressive.
Wow.
So every episode is kind of like its own self-contained story, but at the same time, character development and things like that carry over, and there is sort of an overarching, almost like a slice of life kind of narrative. But at the same
Hmm.
time, every episode is has a very entertaining like story within it. It's
You know what it's like to
it's
be
a
told
very
you're
great
dumb when you're only 10 years old.
Wait, what's that? Who said that? I forgot.
Oh, James Franco, you don't remember? Because he
Yeah.
tries to
Oh
convince
yeah.
Lydia
And then she
Cardellini to help
starts
him cheat.
laughing.
And
Yeah,
she
yeah,
starts
yeah.
losing it. Yeah,
That was great.
it's a
That
great
was a
scene.
great.
It's a good scene.
Yeah.
So a lot of funnies in that show. It's
I
really
can't
funny.
even. I can't even praise her acting because you're just gonna say you're biased and move
No,
on.
she's good. She's a
Because
good
I think
actor.
she's fantastic.
She
Yeah.
does a really good job in that show. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're also biased.
Fuck you. I think this show hits on like a lot of the high school kind of things like in a much too real way, which is one of the reasons I can't watch it again
Yeah,
because I just never want to relive that time in my life ever,
a
like even
lot
in
of
my
it.
head.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with lack of purpose, which I feel like everyone, especially in our age group, is really struggling with.
Yeah, lack of purpose. Plus, you're thrown into like a building full of people, and you like at that age, you literally don't even like you don't know how to be a person. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like I became a person until like grade 12. Like
Yeah,
genuinely.
that's so
And
true.
you're
That's
just
very accurate.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like it shouldn't be allowed.
It also makes you angry because Jason Segel got to kiss Linda Cardellini and you didn't. So
Yep. Yep. That makes me very angry. I would have been much happier with James Franco. But
that's
that
very
never
true.
happens.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
I
it?
mean
Oh,
everyone should watch this show.
there's a lot of like little moments like as well. We could probably make an entire episode about this one as well, but we're not. Like there's this one like where he makes where they go and make fun of the band kids, right? And there's this one tuba girl that he just roasts, right? And then she gives him a completely big ass roast back. And he goes, "Wait, I
Mhm.
think I'm in love with her."
Yeah. And then they have a relationship.
And then they have a relationship. It's super cute. Yeah,
Tuba girl.
tuba girl. So yeah, that's great. I feel like it barely counts, but I kind of wanted to mention it. I kind of wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, it is one
Uh,
of my favorite shows.
yeah, it's really great.
I don't think
I
I'm
really
ever
miss.
rewatching it
Yeah.
because first of all, it's like actually like kind of depressing towards the end. Second of
Mm.
all, it reminds me of a time in my life that was very very depressing too,
Yeah.
because that's when I
Very true.
watched it and that's kind of what it's also about. So it's
It
just
is interesting how it balances being genuinely really funny and genuinely kind of difficult to watch.
exactly
Mm.
because it's so real, you know.
Yeah.
That's
Man,
one of the
like
most
there's this
impressive
one,
things about it.
like remember when Bill gets locked in 7 minutes in heaven with Vicky, the lead cheerleader,
Yeah,
and she's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
don't try to kiss me. I really don't want you to try to kiss me. You're so gross." He's
It's
like, "I
like she's
really
like,
don't
who
want
says
to
I
kiss
wanna?
you." Yeah. He's like, "I really
Yeah,
don't want to, man." And she's like really turned on by the fact that he doesn't want to kiss her, so she kisses him.
yeah. Yeah. That's
It's a
great.
really good scene.
But
Yeah,
that's
good
also
for
sad
Bill.
at the same time, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
He's the
Bill
teacher
the
in
Giga
Spider-Man:
Chad.
Homecoming.
He's the teacher in Spider-Man Homecoming. Very true.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say about this show.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely wanted to briefly mention it. It barely counts, but
I
it's also great.
I
So
never want to return to the headspace I was in when I watched it for the first
yeah,
time. You know what I mean? I just never want to go to that territory of my brain. So I don't
it's
think
true.
I'll ever watch this show again, but I do love it a lot.
That's unfortunate. I'm gonna watch it right now.
Yeah,
I'm
I
turning
know.
it on right now while we're talking.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Do,
speaking of talking, I'm gonna let you. Sorry, go on first. You go.
do we mention American Vandal briefly?
Is that 40 minutes?
It's like 35 minutes, but
Yeah, I guess
I
it's
wouldn't say
brilliant.
it's like a straight
Um,
up. I wouldn't say it's like a straight up sitcom or something.
it's
You
also
know?
true. It's brilliant,
Yeah,
is what it is.
that's also one of my favorite shows.
It's so good. I'm
It's
shocked by how
it
incredible
is
it
the
is.
most impressively underrated show I think ever made.
Basically, like the basic premise is Jimmy Tatro, who's a well-known Vine star, but like a genuinely kind of funny one, is accused of spray painting dicks on a bunch of cars at
He
school.
doesn't play Jimmy Tatro. He plays a character.
He plays a
He's played
character,
by
sorry.
Jimmy Tatro.
He's
Yeah.
played by Jimmy Tatro, sorry. And then everyone, the entire thing is like sort of a mockumentary, sort of investigative drama about whether or not he spray painted dicks on cars. It's so funny. It's really great.
It's a fake documentary that manages to be more interesting and engaging than most real documentaries. And it's about a subject so ridiculous, but at the same time, it touches on a lot of real things
Yeah,
in a
exactly.
really, really smart and mature way.
Hmm.
But it also has like dick jokes. It's so brilliant. It's such a
They did an incredible
it's
job.
such a
Yeah.
brilliant combination.
Hmm.
The characters are fantastic. The central mystery is like better than a lot of things that actually
Yeah,
try to have a serious central mystery. You know what I mean? Like
I know
it's
exactly what you mean.
insane.
Yeah.
It's so good. You're engaged
So
the whole time, essentially.
like another thing that's I mean like what was I gonna say? God damn it! Yeah, stop talking so
I
much,
don't
Mark.
know.
I don't remember what I was gonna say. I'm sure it was fascinating
It
though.
just I guess watch season 2 if you really want, but you don't need to. Just watch season
It's
1.
fine. Season one is truly
It's
because
fine.
like without Jimmy Tatro, it doesn't. It's not just not the same.
It's not the
Oh,
same.
this is what. Sorry, this is what I wanted to say. This is sort of really minor, but it genuinely adds a lot to it. Where this is one of the
Hmm.
first cases of like sort of media about teenagers that use genuine apps that teenagers actually use. Like you see them
Yeah,
actually using
this is one of
Snapchat,
the
and you see them
only.
actually using Instagram.
I think this actually is the only accurate actual depiction of teenagers
Yeah,
in the modern age. Like the
because like
only
holy shit.
like
n-
they
Yeah.
even talk like how we would,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
it's
that's why we
crazy.
quote them all the goddamn
Ew.
time. This is extremely quotable, extremely quotable show. But yeah,
100%.
there's stuff like that. 100%. If I did it, I'd admit it because it's fucking
It's
funny.
fucking funny. it's it's a hilarious and weirdly by the untouching show.
Yeah, it's really
it
great.
like it like actually has like a really um powerful ending. I feel
Hmm. It's to make a
you
murderer.
know
Yeah,
yeah, like making a murderer pretty
yeah.
much. No spoilers.
I
This
am
is the
glad
show
you.
I don't want to spoil. I'll spoil Game of Thrones all
Yeah.
day. I don't want to spoil American
This is a
Vandal
show that should
because
be
I know
experienced
nobody
in
has seen
full.
it. You know?
Exactly. It's it's
Yeah.
it's a Netflix original. It's on there for like forever. I totally recommend that anybody listening who hasn't watched it totally should. It's incredible.
It's one of the only good Netflix originals.
Yeah.
One of the only good, probably the best Netflix original.
Kind of a Chad move for us to
Honestly,
talk about American Vandal and not Stranger Things when talking about 40-minute dramas, which by the way
nah,
we
fuck
aren't. I'm
Stranger
saying as a
Things.
joke. Fuck Stranger Things. That's all we have to say. Moving on.
I enjoy it, but it's not very good.
God damn it! I don't want to talk about Stranger Things.
Let's talk about it briefly.
Oh fuck!
So
God damn it! Go on.
I thought the first season was like really cool and unique back in the day,
Hmm.
right? It's just I mean now I realize it's just a Stephen King book, but not an actual
Yeah.
Stephen King book. It's the same thing. So I thought it was cool, and it was different from everything else that was on TV at that time
Hmm.
too. But then seasons 2 and 3 came out, and it's the exact same thing both
Mm.
times, and kind of a lot worse than the first season. And I don't think it's very good now. I enjoyed the third season a lot. I binged it in like one day, but I recognize that it's not a good like season of
Yeah.
television.
Winona Ryder fills me with such
Yeah, I
unrealistically
really don't like
fucking
Winona Ryder.
unfathomable rage. It's just I
I
cannot
really
stand
like
her.
I really like
Hopper?
Hopper though. I
I knew
really
you were
like
gonna
it
say that. Yep.
when he's in other things too.
Hmm.
You know, I really
Yeah,
enjoy
like
it.
Hellboy.
Okay, no,
Billy
that
Bob
wasn't him.
Thornton
That
was
was
also
like
pretty great.
a prosthetic. Wait, Millie Bobby Brown?
Yeah.
Do you actually think she was great, or are you just
No,
saying
I
that to
do
make the
not. I
joke?
was just
Okay,
making
good.
a joke. I do not think she was great. She just had to have make one face the entire show. It was
Pretty
obnoxious.
much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Did you watch the
Basically,
third
her
season?
real her. No, I didn't even watch the second season. I
Oh,
don't even think
okay,
I finished the
okay,
first. I did not like that show.
okay. Jesus. I really enjoyed the first season. I thought it was great,
Wow.
honestly.
Honestly, Millie Bobby Brown's real day job is staying away from Drake.
Oh God, that whole thing.
That
Oh
whole thing.
boy.
So that's it. And then
Yeah.
fucking the character of Barb went on to be on Sierra Burgess as a Loser, which is one of the
Yeah.
most shockingly, not shockingly, sorry, just impressively horrible films I think I've ever seen.
The character of Barb, not the actress of Barb, went on to be in Sierra Burgess' Loser, is what you said.
Did I say the character?
You said the character.
That's exactly what I meant.
Can we mention how Netflix has probably made the worst
Excuse
movie
me.
I've ever seen in my entire life?
Which one? Kissing Booth?
Kissing Booth 2?
Kissing Booth 2.
Like, I think that's actually
Oh my
worse than
god.
Space Jam 2 and Ready Player One, which is the two movies I think of when I think the worst movies ever made.
That's pretty bad, yeah.
I think it's
Damn.
actually worse,
It's
honestly.
worse. Do you think it's worse than Ready Player One? It probably
I
is.
think it
Yeah, I
is.
take
I
it
think
back.
it is, yeah. I
For
think
the at time of
it fills
recording,
me with more rage.
oh, it's terrible. At time of recording, Kissing Booth 3 is 4 days away, and we're extremely hyped.
Fuck yeah.
we're gonna
Fuck
we're
yeah.
gonna Netflix party that. Oh, we're so
I think
excited.
Kissing Booth 2 is so much worse than Tall Girl.
Really, I hated
Tall
Tall
Girl
Girl.
is like
Okay,
terrible, yeah, but I think Kissing Booth 2 is a lot worse.
man, we might have to watch 1 and 2 just to brush up on the
Do you
the
remember
plot.
how at the end they're like, "Oh, she's finally doing herself. She's finally wearing the outfit. She feels confident."
Oh
And
my
she looks like
god, and she looked
shit.
hideous. Oh my god.
That outfit was stupid as hell. It was hilarious.
What were your thoughts? Didn't you
Yeah.
actually kind of like To All the Boys I've Loved Before?
I did. I thought it was cute. It wasn't like great. It was just kind of like, oh, that was enjoyable.
Right, so
That's
it's your
it.
favorite movie of all time, Mark. That's a shitty favorite
Yeah,
movie to
yeah, yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Noah Centineo is my god.
Yeah, I can't really blame you. I know, he's good looking to the point where it's kind of annoying. I don't like him.
Yeah.
So that's all. Damn it! I did not
Uh,
want to talk. So yeah, Stranger Things. There's not much. I thought it was boring as fuck. I thought it was stupid. I thought it was
I
dumb.
like I like it a lot more in
Mm,
concept than in execution recently,
makes sense. Yeah.
but I just think it's like
I don't know.
it's different from every other show I've like watched at that point.
It's
You know what
just
I mean?
that fucking Dustin
It's
kid. I'm
very
like, I don't know
different.
how people sit through it.
Oh yeah, I hate him.
Yeah.
I hate him. I
Goddamn.
really dislike all the kids.
Basically,
I
none of
think
the
I
kids
just
have
like
any
Hopper.
charisma. Yeah.
I think I
Hopper's
just like
cool.
Hopper.
Hopper is
That's it.
cool.
And I
It's like,
like the
oh,
general concept of the show where it's like this actually like well developed long
mm,
horror like kind of story. You know,
mm.
horror science fiction story. Like I just haven't seen that done a lot on TV.
Oh, and look at Millie Bobby Brown. She has the Eggos. That's totally not just a cheesy product placement. That's quirky and cute. Good job, guys. I hated it. It's so bad.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I
that
think
is
it's
all.
pretty good.
Oh, what about that scene where they're all like stuck outside for a long time and they get super thirsty, so they go into a supermarket and drink a bunch of sodas.
And
What are
drink
your thoughts on
Coke.
that?
Oh my god. Okay, never mind. I hate the show now.
I
Oh,
win.
also,
This is how I win.
I think this is I wanted to mention this. I think
Mm.
season 3 has like extremely impressive visual effects for some reason.
Oh, wow, I
Like
don't know what they are. So.
the monster in the last 2 episodes of season 3, it looks fucking incredible. Like it looks
Wow,
awesome. Looks really really like he's actually there. It's a really impressive visual effects work. Like as like up there with like the Game of Thrones dragons. You know,
wow.
it's really
I've
good. It's really
decided not to
cool.
believe you.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm not gonna convince
So
anybody in the world to watch this show.
yeah, it's
I
not
just
like American Vandal where you
I
have to watch that one.
yeah, exactly. And I know for a fact you haven't seen it
Yeah.
too.
uh,
Why don't people just like watching good shows?
yeah.
I
Derek
don't
says
get it.
that the soft toilet seats are like sitting on someone's butt and pooping into their
You
butthole.
know, every time I go to the bathroom now, I think about that quote for some reason. I like actually think it's sort of like someone's season pooping into their butthole. Like I think about that quote a lot.
It's interesting. It's definitely much to think about for sure.
American
So
Vandal
okay.
just has such good characters. Like even the
Yeah,
side characters, like
they're super
Alex
entertaining.
Tramboli. Yeah,
Yeah, it's really
hundred
memorable
percent.
of him. Like, there's like this little animation where Alex Treboli like claims to have gotten a hand job in a certain area, and then they start discussing the relative realisticness of this happening, and then they have like this little animation where they actually animate the two dolls giving a hand job.
Yeah. It's like a
You know what
stick
I'm talking
figure,
about? It's like a
like
stick
moving.
figure. Oh my god, it's really
Yeah,
good. Just little
it's
details like that.
hilarious.
Yeah,
It's like
I
not
remember.
really not trying hard to make you laugh, but it's just like
Yeah,
really
exactly.
hilarious. You
I
know?
remember I really wanted my mom to give it a try just because I'm like, Mom, this
And
is like a pretty accurate portrayal of what teenagers are like. And then she got really confused because of like the whole hey with two Y's thing.
yeah.
She was like, what does that mean?
It's
So
like
yeah,
I imagine the show would be like incomprehensible to like
yeah,
adults that
that's
didn't
very
grow up in
true.
the 2010s. You know?
Yeah, man, I
That's
might
why it's so
rewatch it
good.
after this. Damn.
Oh man, I've watched it like 3 times.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Do you wanna watch it
So
together?
there's that. Fuck it, I'm so down. Nice.
This is fun. We already watched
Okay,
it together once.
we're gonna watch it together twice. It's good.
Yeah. Are
So
we
okay,
done
let's
talking about
complete.
TV shows?
I think we're
Yeah.
no. What about TV? No, there's still. I think there's still one or two more we might mention. Well,
Yeah.
Daredevil.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
All right, go on.
I really enjoy Daredevil. I think it's really good. It used to be
All
one of
right,
my
end of
favorite shows
episode.
at
Thanks,
one time.
guys. Go on.
It used to be one of my favorite shows at one time. Just because I was really into superheroes at one point.
Hmm.
Yeah, I really, really like it. I think it's like a really compelling crime drama.
Hmm.
Disguised as like a superhero show. Like, I think the real main character is Wilson Fisk.
I
Honestly,
was gonna say, but I was gonna exactly
it's
going to
just
bring that up. Yeah.
it's just everything with him is so goddamn good, and I really like the main character as well. And yeah, it's a really solid crime show with the occasional cool fight scene or two. You know? Yeah. What'd you think of it? You
It's
just watched
interesting
it
because
recently.
yeah, this is something that Mark has wanted me to watch for like what, like 3 or so years now. I want to say,
Yeah. No,
and
I
I
really
kept
like
going.
it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I like this. You should watch it.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
kept saying no, and one day I finally went like, I've literally nothing to watch. Why not?
Yeah.
And it went by surprisingly quickly. I actually really enjoyed a lot of it. I'm gonna partially agree and partially disagree with Mark, where I also love Fisk. He definitely steals the show, and I kind of hate our main character.
Really?
And I kind of hate all of our main characters actually. I hate him. I hate Foggy.
Yeah,
I
me
hate
too.
fucking Karen. Um, I hate how they pulled this whole man. What are you doing, saving the fucking
I know.
city
I
and not being
despise
my
that.
friend? It was
I
so
despise
cheesy
that.
and boring. Yeah, but like everything with
I
Fisk was really good. A lot of the action scenes are insane. Like a lot of the
They're
choreography is
really good.
ridiculous.
They're
Yeah,
really, really good. Yeah, they're better than most movies. Again,
yeah.
they're better than any Marvel movie. Honestly.
It's not quite as good as a Daredevil movie, but can't do that
Oh
well.
my god, that movie's a masterpiece. Liar.
Liar. Oh, also the character of
Yeah.
Elytra was really annoying to me. I did not enjoy her.
Oh, I really liked Elektra.
Aww.
Yeah. I think the main character could be annoying because he's like the self-righteous, like
Man,
oh,
I
I gotta
hate him.
serve
Yeah.
justice or whatever. I just really like the actor. I think really, I
He's
think he does a
how
really
to put
good
this?
job.
I hate it a lot more if the actor wasn't doing as good of a job.
Yeah,
Definitely put it
yeah,
that
yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah. Fair enough. And I think I was talking about this with my friend the other day, where I think in order to have a really really compelling villain, you have to have a strong rivalry between the main character and the villain, which not a lot
Mm,
of things do. Like for
mm-hmm.
example, let's take the classic example, Star Wars, whatever, right?
Okay.
There's no interaction between the villain and any of the main characters, like for most
Mm-hmm.
of them, like
That's
whatsoever.
true.
There's no rivalry. There's no like opposition of goals or whatever. Like there's no, you know what I mean, right? But like in
Mm-hmm.
Daredevil, it's like Fisk and uh Matt Murdock are
Daredevil.
so Daredevil are so
Mm-hmm.
intertwined throughout the whole show in terms of
Mm-hmm.
their goals, their ideals, their everything, right? And I think it's such a great like rivalry, and that final fight in season 3 is one of the most satisfying like things ever.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what makes Fisk such a fast. He's just a fascinating character on his own, but what makes him such a good villain is his rivalry with the main character that not a lot of like shows or movies explore. Yeah,
That's
that's
what
one of
thing
my
is.
favorite things
Is
about it.
Fisk doesn't just run around and being evil for no real reason. He generally thinks
Yeah,
that what he's doing is best for the city, which is pretty admirable. It's pretty cool of him.
he's an actual. He feels like an actual person. Like he's not just a
Yeah.
villain. He's like an actual character with his own
He
problems and
there's
goals.
some cheesy bits where it seems like
Oh
unprompted
yeah,
he'll go like, "When
definitely.
I was a boy, my father was a
Yeah, yeah,
cunt,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was Chungus man," and that's it pretty much.
I think I started noticing that in Daredevil, where in a
Uh,
lot of shows, instead of like actual dialogue, they will have like characters just like someone will ask someone something, and they'll start, "Let me tell you a story," like,
he starts monologuing.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
"Hey, hey
that
boss,
is annoying.
it's like, hey boss, can I use the bathroom?" When I was a boy, my father
Yeah,
told
yeah,
me
yeah.
not to use the bathroom. Yeah,
Sir, I'm
just
pissing
that
my
kind of
pants
stuff.
over here. Boss, I'm pissing my pants over here. Yeah, I do think that's cheesy, but oh my god, the
Mm.
actor who plays Fisk is brilliant.
So
As
great,
Fisk.
so good.
He's so good.
He was born for that role. It's
He
insane.
literally was. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Vanessa.
Wilson, fetch me the breastplate stretcher.
Fuck. I don't know until you figure this out, but there's no there's no such thing as a breastplate stretcher. Uh, yeah,
So yeah, that's
and again, as you mentioned, the fight scenes are like awesome. They're
yeah.
really good.
The
They're
choreographer, they
they're
really
much
did a good job there.
they're much better than what a TV show's fight scene should be.
Yeah.
Which brings me, I want to briefly shout out this other show I've watched called Warrior, which I told you about.
Ah, you did.
It's about the Chinese triads in San Francisco in like the 1800s, and none of them use guns or knives or anything. They just fight hand to hand, and it's like a crime
Wow.
show set in the 1800s between like Chinese gangs, and it's fucking awesome. I love it. And nobody's watching it. Like nobody has watched this show, and it's fucking great.
Nice. Yeah, maybe because it's really great. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, yeah. I really, really like it. Season 1 is kind of slow, but season 2 is like slaps.
Mm.
It's very I think it's based on things Bruce Lee wrote back in like the 60s, and it's produced by his estate, like by his daughter or something. She's like a
Hmm.
producer on it, which is really cool.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
So it's
fascinating.
like it's pretty much the closest we're gonna get to modern Bruce Lee content. But obviously with a much like deeper more involved storyline than what you would see in like a 70s Bruce Lee movie.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's my bit
Okay,
on
okay.
Warrior. I really like Warrior. Look up Warrior, everybody.
I don't think they should do that.
And the fight scenes are fucking insane. Like they're really, really good. Because they got the actors are actual like stunt people and martial arts fighters as well, but they also happen to be really good actors. So yeah, it
That's
just works
certainly
really
fitting.
well.
Yes, so they're basically all Jackie Chan, the greatest modern actor of all time.
Mhm. Yeah.
Where he straps a bomb to a child, and he's friends with Chris Stuckman, and that's it. I forgot his last name for a second. What's his last name? Chris something.
Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker. I was close. Chris Stuckman.
Click right here. I get Stuckmanized.
Get yeah. God damn it. So I think that's pretty much all the relevant ones. There's like some minor ones, but I don't know. I think we have much to say.
I started watching The Leftovers like 2 days ago. It's pretty good. It's kind of
Wow. I
cheesy.
doubt it. I doubt it. I
Ooh.
mean, I
Oh,
don't doubt that it's cheesy.
that reminds me. The Watchmen HBO show is terrible. I hated it.
Nice.
It's like, man, that would be a whole separate like rant.
That could be
I'm
fun.
not even gonna go into. I think
I was
it's
de-
awful. I think that
I was
show is fucking
debating if
awful.
I was thinking we could do a Watchmen episode, but like we've discussed Watchmen at such lengths that
No, no, no. You
making an
should
episode
watch
would be
the
sort of
show,
redundant.
and then we can do
Oh,
an episode on that.
oh, that'd be great. That'd be a really fun
I don't know if
episode.
you'll
All right.
finish it. Like, I think you could hate watch it pretty well,
Okay, that could be fun. All right, I'll
or you
consider
might
it.
enjoy it. Who knows? I don't know.
I don't think I will. No.
Yeah, it's no, no. I don't think I will.
We have this.
Jeremy Irons as old Ozymandias is like really perfect
Okay,
and great,
they did a
but
good job
everything
there.
else
Yeah.
sucks. Everything else just
We have
sucks.
this ritual where every time we walk into some form of bookstore, we locate a copy of Watchmen, go, "This is a good book," and then leave pretty much.
Yeah,
So,
there's a scene
we're
in
big
the
fans of
Watchmen
Watchmen.
show. It's probably the best scene in the whole show.
Mm.
Where because Oz is like trapped on like this unknown planet the whole show essentially,
Oh, interesting.
and he lives in like a castle or whatever, and he like sits down in front of a court of just people just wearing pig masks, and
Mm-hmm.
they're like, "Oh, we accuse you of the crime of bringing the octopus down to the earth and killing all these people or whatever all these years ago, right?" And he sits there and he just farts really loudly, and the scene ends, and that's never explained. Like that's a real scene in the show.
What?
No,
What?
that is a real. I'll send it to you. I'll send you a
Oh,
link.
that's brilliant. What the
That's a real
hell?
scene in the show. He like farts, and then the scene just ends. Like it's it's fucking. It's
That's
great.
so good. Oh my god. That's
Yeah, yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
Okay. I take it back. This might be a pretty good show.
Everything with him
That's
I
insane.
enjoyed, but everything else is
Okay.
just so terrible. Yeah,
Nice. That should be entertaining.
yeah, yeah. Anyways, I
Okay.
think we're pretty much
I
done.
think that's pretty much every relevant one. I've now we.
Wait, hold up. I also really like HBO's Euphoria. Everyone should watch
Oh,
that. I really love that show. It's like
what
if
do you love
13
about that
Reasons
show,
Why
Mark?
was good.
Oh, nice.
It's like if 13 Reasons Why was good because it tackles all the same things and it
Mm.
actually has actors that look like that age.
Wow.
But it's like it has like the most beautiful like buzzword alert cinematography that I've ever seen
Oh
in
man.
like any show. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a great
the
show.
way
I
they
really
shot
enjoyed it.
Zendaya complaining about her mental health for 40 minutes was truly impeccable. I agree.
See, you joke, but there's a there's a special episode they released last year that was just her doing exactly that in like a cafe with
Yep.
another guy for like an hour, and it was fucking great. I loved
So it
it.
was basically like the Manhattan chapter, but about her mental health.
Yeah, I loved it.
I,
I
it
loved
is
it.
2018. I'm in a coffee shop. I have
Yeah,
bipolar.
I do the
So
drugs.
I do the drug.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. Yeah, that's pretty much everything relevant. There's not much to say about Mr. Robot. There's not much to say about Fargo. Mr. Robot I hated,
Mr.
and
Robot is
Fargo was
bad.
Mr. Robot I did not like at all. Me and Jasmine were interested. We're like, hey, this seems pretty good. You know, we like the
I've
main
watched most of
character.
it,
We like the main actor.
and
Oh, nice.
I
We
like
could
the
not
main
get
actor
through.
a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we think the subject matter could be fairly interesting. And it's
I
just
got
such
um
pretentious drivel.
I got through 3 seasons of it actually,
Wow.
and I think I have the exact same opinion as you.
Okay, great.
It's weird that you thought that the first season was pretentious dribble because I really enjoyed the first season. I thought seasons
Wow,
2 and 3 were pretentious dribble.
that makes sense. Yeah.
I also think it's a show that takes itself really seriously, but it's also
Hmm.
weirdly like cringy a lot of the time.
Yeah, I did
You
not
know what I
there.
mean? Like a lot of the I'm like, holy shit, this is like someone would joke about. You know what I mean? Like on the internet. This is like
It,
something someone would like say as a
it,
joke, like some
it
of the dialogue in
also,
that show.
I actually did not have it spoiled for me, right?
Yeah,
But the
and you
twist was
predicted the
genuinely
twist.
sort of easy to predict. Yeah, the
Yeah,
twist. It could be that I've already seen Fight Club. I already have experience with like shit like this, but the twist was a little obvious in my opinion.
I do think that they go beyond Fight Club, as in they actually explore like the implications of that
Mm,
twist on the main
okay.
character and things like that.
Hmm.
That's pretty cool. But it's still season 3 is like so goddamn boring, and season 2 was already boring. Like it's just
Nice.
no, I don't like it.
So yeah, Mr. Robot, I hated a lot. Yeah,
Eat
I
your
thought it was
heart out,
very
Ralph.
pretentious. Oh yeah, he loved it,
Yeah,
didn't he? Yeah.
that's like his favorite show. Yeah,
He's like, he's just like me. That's me trying to imitate his laugh. I don't know. I can't fully
that's
imitate
pretty
it.
good. That's pretty good. No, that's really good. Yeah,
Thank
it's
you,
really
thank
good.
you. So
Hey,
and the first season of Fargo, I want to mention extremely briefly because Billy Bob Thornton is the only reason it's worth watching.
wait, I think we mentioned it
Uh
already.
oh shit, did we? Fargo?
Yeah, I think. we might have talked about it before we started
No,
recording, but yeah, Fargo.
yeah,
The first season of Fargo was very enjoyable.
yeah.
The rest of it has no reason to exist, I think.
And yeah, Billy Bob Thornton, unironically Billy Bob Thornton this time, not Millie Bobby Brown, Billy Bob Thornton. He's in so little because he's apparently really focused on his band that pretty much everything he's in, I really
Really
treasure. Yeah,
interesting.
he's apparently
He's
really focused
fantastic.
on his music.
He's great.
He's so good. Even in
Yeah.
I really liked Monster Ball, and I even watched Bad Santa and Badder Santa because he was in it. Those are not very good movies, but he's
You
entertaining
know,
as hell. So,
Godzilla King of the Monsters. He was great.
oh, of course. Good
No,
joke.
funny
Well done,
story.
Mark.
When we walked out of Godzilla King of the Monsters, we both just fucking hated it.
It was awful. Yeah.
Yeah, we both walked out of there. We're like actually actively mad, and then and then Jonathan calls Millie Bobby Brown Billy Bob Thornton. I just laughed, and I felt much better.
Yeah, that was a good time. And now it's like sort of an inside joke because I fucked up. Those are two very similar names. Okay, my
Yes, they
bad.
are. Imagine naming your child Billy Bob.
Great. That's kind of a Chad move. I don't know. It's kind of catchy.
Billy Bob.
Billy Bob. So yeah, there's that. Everything the scenes that don't involve him are okay, but he really carries the first season of the show, and afterwards
I
I did
enjoyed
not get
Martin
through.
Freeman too.
Oh
Thought,
yeah,
I thought
Hobbit, the Hobbit, right?
I thought he had a good dynamic with Billy Bob Thornton. I should
Yeah,
really
I agree.
rewatch that show. I remember really enjoying the first
The
season.
first season is
I
really
don't
goddamn
remember it.
fun.
I barely remember it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's. I remember Billy Bob Thornton being extremely quotable. I just have a bad memory.
yeah. There's just one really cool action scene where he like enters a building and like the camera like pans up the building and you see him
Hmm.
through the windows.
Oh,
It's
that's
pretty
yeah, that's
awesome.
sick.
Yeah, that was a cool action scene.
Man, it sucks we saved that show for last because we have like nothing to say about it. But yeah, it was pretty good. I would
Yeah,
recommend the first season and basically
I
nothing
think I'll
else.
rewatch it actually. Yeah,
Nice. It's a fun time.
I think I'll rewatch the
So
first
that's
season.
pretty much yeah, that's pretty much everything on the list. Oh,
Yeah.
except for Fate the Winx saga, but we're not going to talk about
No.
it.
No.
Are
Talk
we?
about it,
Oh my
please.
god. So me and my sister and Mark actually you used to watch this as well. There was this animated show on for kids called The Winx Club.
It was fucking
That was
awesome.
basically like it was fucking kick ass. It was basically
It was
like these
Ninja Turtles for girls.
literally. I think it was like on the same channel as well and everything. That's actually a really great comparison. And I remember thoroughly enjoying it with my sister. And recently they had like a Titan style reboot of it where it's like live action and really edgy. Right? Like
No,
they
like Titans
swear and
is
shit.
terrible. That's all I wanted to
It's
mention.
Titans is really
Titans is
bad, yeah.
terrible.
So bad.
Have
But
you
me and my
watched it?
sister no.
Okay, good.
I don't need to.
Yeah.
Which is because me and my sister also watched Teen Titans as kids, so that would have been really painful for us as well. And we watched all of it except for like the last episode. We're like, no, that's it. I don't care how
That's
this
it.
ends. We're not
That's
gonna
enough.
sit through it. We're not gonna
That's
do
enough.
it. It's so it's I can't even. We need an entire episode for me to go through how every single aspect of it is wrong. Because like, there's this character Musa, and her character in her powers in the original was super simple. She just had like music powers. It was extremely
Well, yeah,
vague,
makes
right?
sense.
Which she'd just like shoot musical notes at people. I don't know. It was stupid kid shit, right? And in this one, they decided to give her empathy as a superpower. I don't know why they keep doing that. I don't know why they keep doing that.
It's such a hard concept to understand. It needs to be a superpower. Yeah.
Exactly. It's oh my god, it was insane. And so she's like, "Oh, I feel everyone's emotions around me. So people having emotions is so difficult for me." It's just I don't know. It was just awful in every aspect. Every character was just obnoxious.
That sounds really
Stella,
funny. Might
which
watch
is
it.
weird because Stella was sort of the stuck-up rich girl, right? But she was actually super
Yeah.
sweet in the original. She was like actually kind of
Yeah.
a stand-up girl boss, and they just made her a fucking
Hmm.
cunt for no reason.
It's like Winx Club is like My Little Pony, but with people.
Fuck. Dude, I don't
Pretty
want to
much.
admit to watch My Little Pony as a kid. God damn it. No,
No,
there's
Winx Club
this
is
one
Chad. My
line.
Little Pony is in the yeah.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
There's this one line from it that me and my sister quote all the time because it was just so bad. Musa, they're all British for some fucking reason, except for like
Oh, it
Blue.
got
They all
renewed
have
for
like this
season
weird
two.
ass accent. Christ, oh my god. But yeah, they're all British except for like our main character, and so Musa at some point. Because she has a roommate, and at some point there's this line where she goes, "You see that meme I sent you? It me."
What? This is brilliant.
It's
No, hold on.
so
That's
good, right?
great. What?
She says,
That's
"You see that meme I
incredible.
sent you? It me." It was brilliant.
It's
Oh my
me,
god, it me.
bro. That's amazing.
It's really good, right? That's why we
That's
quote
so
it all
good.
the time.
Yeah.
It's
It's really
terrible.
good.
So that's it. Yeah, what a weird mishmash of shows we decided to discuss. We really weren't sure what
Yeah.
to discuss, so we're like, fuck it, we're gonna discuss a
Yeah,
couple things.
general thoughts on TV shows. A lot of them fail to
Mm.
justify their length,
Yep,
but you can also have much better storytelling with it.
yep.
Characters are probably the most important thing.
Mhm.
Although, like The Sopranos is great characters, but I'm still kind of bored of it sometimes.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, that is generally yeah. Watch Game of Thrones. Watch American Vandal. Watch The Wire. Yeah, those are my
No,
recommendations.
I pretty much just say watch American Vandal. Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. That's the only one that matters. I agree.
yeah, I agree. And also the first season's Fargo is a lot of fun. I'd actually actively
I
recommend that
think I'll
one to
actually start
people.
rewatching that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I have
it's
nothing else
great.
to
I
watch
really
right now,
enjoy it.
anyways. Yeah.
Nice. I have to. Oh wait a minute, we have to watch American Vandal
Again.
again.
Yeah. We
So
already
yeah,
watched it together once.
I think that's pretty much everything. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna stop recording.
yeah. Oh wait, shit.
Media
Are you gonna
banter,
count down or something?
TV shows. Forever.
Forever.